Don't sue us, don't sue us. We're just having a small laugh, talking about Severance, unofficial. Yes, we are, yes, we are. Me and David Hammond, SevHeads, SevHeads. You're listening to SevHeads, SevHeads. You are very welcome to SevHeads, the unofficial Severance rewatch podcast as part of Flop Culture. I am your host, Fionnuala Jones, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, David Hammond. How are you?
We got nothing done on being the official podcast yet, no?
No, sorry. We can't do that. I've tried to email Adam Scott, but it keeps bouncing back for some reason.
Adam.scott@severance.com.
markscout@lumen.com. I actually might try that after this. I'm like, how much of the tech actually exists? I love that shit. How are you?
Really good, yeah, really good.
It's been a week since we last spoke. So what's happened in the week since we last spoke?
It personally?
Yeah.
Oh, just, got engaged. I think I...
wow, okay.
Then I got married and then that divorced.
Okay.
So now just...
Jeez, it's all go. Well, thanks for making the time to do this.
Still don't have a season 2.
We are still waiting. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Okay, we're heading into these middle 3 episodes before the last 3. Things are really, really kicking up a notch. We're on episode 4, which is called...
The You Are.
The You Are. Oh, that must be what Rickon's book is called.
That's what it's called.
I kept calling it The You Within You. Okay, we will maybe have to go back and do a correction on that. But anyway, that's funny. That's one for future Fionnuala. That's one for severed Fionnuala. She's going to enjoy that. She loves those
That's
jobs.
one for your innie.
The You Are. Yes, indeed. And it opens with Helly in the break room. It seems like hours have gone by because in the last episode, she's gone to the break room to be punished for trying to escape. She's like deliriously tired, still reading the statement. I didn't realise this. I think on the last episode, I said that he was just kind of like assessing her.
Yeah.
But she's hooked up to there's a proper word for it, but like a lie detector to actually see whether she's like meaning it when she's saying it.
She also must be hooked up to something else because why is she reading?
Yeah, true.
Do you know? This is where I actually have written down here that this is where we start to see, but really kind of see Milchek's evilness here, or his ableness to be evil. And he's he's quite scary in this. And after he Helly says, she read it 259 times yesterday or something like that. And then he says, why don't we finish up for the day? And he walks her to the elevator. And I find this interesting because I think he did this on purpose. I think his whole thing is, I want her to know that I'm in charge. So that's why I think he walks her to the elevator, because when he puts her in the elevator, sends her back up, and she comes back down straight away the next day, because in her mind, obviously, it's the same. Literally, she's just blinking, and it's the next day. He's there again, the exact same location. And I think that's why he did it. I think it's to be like, I am in charge of you.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
To show how much power he has over more power than he's letting on over how the severance actually works, which we will learn a bit more about later on as the episodes progress. So she goes back in, she's reading it. There's like these voices in the background as she's doing it. What do you reckon they are?
I think do you remember Harry Potter and when he casts when Harry Potter casts like the spell that would give away puts the Dementors away, and he hears his mother screaming. I think it's some sort of trauma that they have in the past, because we'll learn in 5 minutes when Helly explains it to Dylan, that he says, "Oh, you heard the crying baby?" And she's like, "No, I don't have that. I have like a moaning, groaning voice from behind a door." So I think there's some sort of trauma that they're hearing from their outie.
Okay. That's so interesting.
Do you know what I mean by the Harry Potter thing?
Yes, but I also can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, the Patronus.
Spells
the Patronus, that's what it's called.
It wasn't the Patronus. What?
Patronus, yeah. So when they cast a Patronus, and it would be like a different animal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of a different Harry Potter thing then.
Sorry. I'm actually... So when Harry starts to... This is turned into a Harry Potter podcast. When he casts his Patronus, he passes out.
Yeah.
And when he passes out, he hears his mother screaming, Harry. And that's trauma.
Oh, okay.
Some people hear something else.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Sorry,
okay.
that was a roundabout way of saying trauma.
No, that absolutely is trauma. Yeah, she's crying. She's reading the statement. Do you reckon obviously at some point she is able to get out, but like, do you reckon she's being genuine in that moment, or is she just like, I just have to turn on the waterworks and then it'll finally be over? But obviously Milcher clocks that it's not, because he's like, I'm afraid you don't mean it.
Yeah, I don't think at all she's sorry.
Okay.
We learn later that she's not sorry. She said it herself. I think she's just deflated.
Yeah.
She's just done.
Yeah.
She's broken.
Yeah.
Hence the break room.
Yeah, truly. Meanwhile, Mark is flat out getting calls on PD's phone that he's left behind. R.I.P. PD, you would have loved blockchain. The numbers are calling him, but they're blocked, but they're very frequent.
Yeah,
and
they're
Mark's
all the
like,
time.
all the time. Seems to be like on the hour, every hour, if not more. Mark's kind of like, can't be dealing with this. So he ends up shoving it in a box of camping equipment in the basement. Who do you think is ringing him at this point?
It's the person who is ringing him, I think, is whoever unsevered PT.
Okay.
And I know PT said that that's not a word, but that's the word we have to use, unsevered.
Yeah.
I think it's whoever's done that, because there is a mystery behind who helped him. Because he has said on multiple occasions, you know, I wasn't alone, or I didn't do this on my own.
Yeah.
Someone is out there unsevering. Maybe Peter was their first unsever. Who knows? So that's, I'd say, who's calling.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out if he's alive, what's going on. Do they need to move from where they are? I don't know. Yeah.
You know what I noticed when they went back to Lumen for work? The campus is like shaped like a brain nearly.
Is it?
Because I noticed it in the first episode as well that you have these big long roads, but like they kind of bisect.
Yes.
Is that what I mean? They bisect. Oh, look at me, bisect. They split in two, but they still kind of form this one, so it's one road out and then the one road into Lumen, but like whatever way it's segmented, either with buildings or like land, they kind of look like whatever the sections of brain are called. Again, bisect is where my science knowledge ends. What are they called? Lobes. Frontal lobe.
That's
cortex.
one of them. It's you mean the little edges in your brain?
Yeah.
I have no idea what the word for that is.
Neither do I.
Maybe it's Patronus. I don't know.
It's Patronus, yeah. So I had noticed that we have Mark looking at the map on the inside in the office. So the map the PD has left for him.
I think he's trying to memorise it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you really?
I do. And the reason being, like, I know I'm jumping ahead and I've done that every single time I've spoken on this episode. But later on, when Helly finds him reading that map, he shreds it.
Yes.
Do you know? And I think he doesn't matter shredding it because he has it mapped out in his head. I think he's memorising it.
Okay. I don't know if he does.
Do you not?
No. I suppose, like, he seems to be very smart and very capable as an innie and, like, good at his job. And he's probably looking at numbers and screens all day long that, like, maybe, but...
See, I think from day one, episode 1, where we saw Mark, who is this, you know, he's dedicated innie, to where I have watched up to, say, like episode, what is this, 4? 4. I think, and then, you know, jump ahead 3 episodes. As he gets on, I think he's becoming a little bit more like, maybe I should have a look around. Yeah, suspicious. Yeah. See, I don't think he's consciously memorizing it, but I do think maybe he just inadvertently memorized it because he was looking at it for so long. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. That. Okay. Interested to hear what other people think on that. Okay. Then, love of my life, king of my heart, Bert arrives. Dylan is not happy. Dylan starts threatening him, doesn't he? With a stapler. Huh? As if he freaks. Like. Yeah, he's like fully like, it's like he's a gun, but it's a stapler, which is hilarious. As if Bert is a real threat. Yeah. Like he needs to be shot with a dart. Do you know what I mean? Like he's really, really suspicious of him, even though he kind of has, you know, no reason to be. Though I suppose you could argue like they never really see other people. We realise that's deliberate, but we don't know why. Turns out Bert has come because, like, they call it optics and design, right? Bert's department is essentially the fucking merch department. The merch department. They sort tote bags, paintings, all the merch. The personality hires. Yeah, truly. Like, clearly, King Bert, hello. So he's brought the tote bags for Irv because Irv said he was so excited about the new season tote bags, and he said he didn't want Irv to be distracted from work thinking about the tote bags. Oh my God! These episodes made me want to
Scream! I'm obsessed with them.
You and Irv are one and the same.
Truly.
Obsessed with tote bag.
We love a tote bag.
Love a tote.
girls. We will single use? Never. Never, ever. Lumen tote bags forever. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this. He also offers them tours of optics and design. He says, if you want to come by, we can have a look around. Absolutely. Dylan, again, still very apprehensive, not into it at all. We have Helly coming back then from the break room. She is absolutely...
So Bert leaves with her, or Irv leaves with Bert.
Oh, yes, sorry, because Irv is like... Bert leaves. Again, I'm obsessed with him. Bert leaves, and then Irv immediately gets ready to take the tour. Yeah. And Mark is like, I don't think, you don't have to take him up on the offer right now. And Irv's like, why wouldn't I? Bye-bye. And to which I'm also saying, like, they are not getting a tap of work done.
No,
there is
nothing.
none of them are anywhere near the
only
quota.
after you said that yesterday, I was like, they do no work. I was like, God, they really don't.
They do no work. I've seen them actively be doing work, like, 3 times in the amount of time we've seen this show so far. Like, it's demented. Anyway, as you said, Irv goes off. He's like, bye-bye, bitch. I'm going to O&D to see my lover. And Ellie comes back. Yeah. She's read it 1,072 times, and she looks in bits.
She looks really broken, doesn't she?
In bits. And then we have that moment then that you referenced earlier where she's kind of talking about it and explaining it, and Dylan is like, to get through it, you need to apologise for something you actually feel sorry for.
Right.
But then I'm wondering, like, how... Because...
But I don't think he was saying that. I think he was saying... he needs to say sorry for something else. So he comes up with a scenario. Okay. I think he's...
That makes more sense, because I was like, what would they be apologising for? They don't live lives.
No, they don't know anything. They don't know anyone out on the outside world. So I would imagine Dylan said he's coming up with apologies, coming up with scenarios to apologise for. So I think he says he cheats on his imaginary wife.
Oh, yes, yeah. We learn Irving's initial, his last name, he's Irving B, because he arrives at Optics and Design. He introduces himself to Bert's because Bert has let on that Optics and Design is only a 2-person department, right? And there's another girl there, or woman, I cannot remember her name. I'll put it in after. It's fine, doesn't matter. He introduces himself, and I wanted to posit this to you, right? So she immediately goes, Bert's over there, don't touch anything. Yeah. Which kind of like led me to believe that, I don't know, is Bert like frequently having office romances, do we think? Or was it just that he was from MDR?
I didn't pick up on that at all.
I don't know if I'm reading too much into it then.
I picked up the same level of distrust for R&D or O&D that Dylan has. Yeah. That this woman has the same level of distrust for MDR. Is it MDR, is that right?
MDR, yeah. Macro data refinement.
Yes.
Ugh, girls, whatever, Patronus, doesn't matter. Yeah, maybe that makes more sense.
That's just what I thought. I thought she was off because she doesn't trust that department.
There was just, a part of me had a little fear that it was like, don't, Bert, don't be a manonizer, you know? Yeah. Like, don't be slagging around the place, Bert. Don't do that to my boy Irv. He goes, then they're going around and he's showing it. He is giving him the tour and they're showing each other paintings. He cries about a particular painting. He has a special picture that he wants to show Irv, Bert does. And he's showing it to him and they go to hold hands, right?
This was a big moment.
I want to quote the Serialized review that says, let my grandpas kiss, because I couldn't agree more. So it's like, I think Bert initiates it, doesn't he? He's kind of like sliding the hand over. It's like, it's so slight. Yes. It's such a slight moment. And Irv kind of semi-freaks the fuck out. Yeah. And John Turturro's acting here and his voice is so funny because his voice goes really high-pitched and he goes, oh, what time is it? I have to get back. And he like just ends up fucking off. Just... so sweet.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. It was real. Like it's kind of one of those where I wasn't even massively expecting this early. I thought maybe we'd get a handhold in the very end episode or something. Do you know what I mean? Because only reason being that Irv is so careful. Yeah. He's such a company man. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He loves Keir, the creator of Lumen. He loves Lumen as a place. He loves all their ideologies. He would never. He would never.
because fraternization is not allowed.
It's frowned upon.
It's frowned upon. Absolutely. Absolutely. So he leaves, but as he's leaving, he ends up seeing a book
Yes.
in a boardroom. And it's Rickon's book that Milchick had been reading and checking for messages and had left behind. And this is the you. What is it called?
The
you are. Sorry. The you are. And he's like, what the hell? I have to alert everyone to this. But in the meantime, in the office, you're having a little bit of a fracas because Haley has found Mark's map.
Yes.
And Mark is annoyed. This is the shredding incident you were referring to earlier. Haley's found the map. She's like, what the fuck is this?
He said he's scared. Mark said he's scared of the department imploding.
Yeah.
You know, like as if I kind of took from that, and I know I'm going back to my same,
theory that he's done this before.
That he's done something like this before. I wonder, is this Mark's second severed? Has Mark been severed, before and he doesn't remember it or something like that? Is that possible?
Well, like, that's the thing. He's there long enough, but like, how would the outside one not know is the thing. Well, obviously, Lumen must have ways, as we've seen with like Haley, and we'll see with other characters later on, that they are able to, they have way more control over it after the fact than they're letting on.
Yeah.
About such you not know.
100%. But I thought it was interesting when Irv sees Rickon's book, that is most likely the first piece of outside text that Irv has ever seen in his life. That's something that's not Keir.
Yeah.
It doesn't even mention Keir.
Yeah.
And Irv's probably looking at this going, what's that? And that's why he thinks it's a test.
Yeah.
And I find that very interesting.
It is. It's just so Irv. What piece of outside media would you want to stumble upon in your severed world? I think if I came across like a fucking GameCube or something, I think blood would start coming out of my ears.
Yeah. I think a bed.
A bed.
They don't have beds.
Yeah, true. But then you wouldn't understand. Well, you do understand the concept of sleep, but like you can't sleep.
No,
So
I'd say
just
they
have a pillow fight or something.
I'd say they can sleep. Why would they sleep during the day? They're in work.
Because they're not supposed to. Yeah.
It's just that when they say, "Oh, you'll never experience sleep," that's because they're at work.
Well, sorry, of course as well. Irv is like dozing, but that's not really. They're calling it dozing, but he's not dozing. He's like hallucinating.
Yes,
or something.
there's something going on with him. But they would call it dozing because they think, he's getting tired, or they're saying he's getting tired, or something like that. So I think a bed. They'd be like, right, so we just lie down on this, and Jesus, this is much more comfortable than an office chair. Yeah,
God, those chairs are killing them.
Can you imagine just throwing in a Tamagotchi or something just to see what they do?
Mark would take that so seriously.
He would. But the Tamagotchi is so within the theme of their technology that they're using. Yeah. It's so the 90s or something. It's so
true. I actually did note that even there's a camcorder. Well, there's camcorders and stuff used throughout, and like even the cameras Milchick use. It's all really old tech, even though it's like this newfangled company,
this
like
tech company.
Yeah.
It's not even a tech company. It's giving tech company.
It's giving tech company, but we don't know if they're It's giving tech company.
It's giving tech company.
Haley finds the map. She's like, this is Petey's map. She seems to think that Petey seems to have found houses because on the outskirts of the map there's like a circle that seems separate to the office that has houses. And if you're looking at it, it kind of looks like where Mark is living, Barrett Creek. It kind of looks, those like all the houses look the same. They're all in a line, whatever. Haley's kind of, Mark, as you said, is freaking out. He's like, the office is going to implode, whatever, if we keep engaging with this.
Yeah, so shred the map and
Yeah, and she has a go with him where she's like, you're being more loyal to Lumen and not Petey, who's supposedly your best friend in here.
Yes.
And then Mark delivers the incredible line, the work is mysterious and important. Oh.
A great line.
Do not... Companies, close your ears, don't hear that, because if you start using that against your employees, I will not be happy.
Honestly, I'm looking at Severance, I'm looking at Lumen, and I'm looking at, say, Amazon. Okay. I'm like totally see I think they're very similar.
Yeah.
I could totally imagine like X, like formerly Twitter. I'd imagine Elon Musk totally has a perpetuity wing. Yeah. Where he has a his own house, like a mirror of his own house, and like all his former, fathers and grandfathers, and just the history and everything like that.
And I'd say it smells like fart.
Yeah,
honestly,
for sure.
I hate him. So I actually forgot that they because obviously I'm rewatching this. I completely forgot they shredded the map, and when he did it again, I was like, "This is so." I literally wrote down he shredded the map. Oh my god!
Yeah,
so stressful. So stressful.
But I was just like, why? That's your only piece of But the other thought was, he's memorized it. He has to.
Okay.
He has to.
Yeah.
Because he's looking at it. Why would you look at a map that long?
Yeah. I just felt like he was conflicted about whether to do anything with it.
Interesting.
But I like the memorization.
I hope.
I like the conscious memorization theory more.
I hope it's memorization.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just looking at it from what I would do.
Yeah. So then Irv is like, the book. So they go and look the book. He's, as you said, he thinks it's a loyalty text.
Yeah.
He calls it an idolatrous text. I think as in to be like, this is someone that's not here who's trying to like tempt you, and which is so funny when it's like it's Rickon. The man wears fucking patterned sweaters. I think we're fine. They all don't know what to do with it, but also there's a signature. It's been signed specifically for Mark. Mm-hmm. I think they do notice that at this point, right?
They do notice that it's for Mark, but also is Mark under the impression that he's the only Mark in the world?
I don't know. Maybe but he's certainly the only Mark in the office.
He is. That is true. And he's probably the only Mark on the severed floor. Yeah. So why else would it be down there? Yeah. So maybe that is true. But I was thinking, I was like, it's a bit presumptuous now of him to think, that's for him. If I see David written down, but it's something that it's not.
That's mine.
There we go.
That's mine now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know what to do. What happens with Helly here in between? Because I literally just have Helly's still like, I fucking hate this. Yeah, so it decides to take matters into her own hands.
I think she freaks out after she realizes, not even realizes, but I think she gets annoyed that Mark is being loyal to Lumen as opposed to his best friend Petey by shredding the map. And so she's like, fuck this, I need to get out of here. And goes to like an almost, I won't say last resort, I'll say a second last resort. She's going to harm herself. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so she runs into Cobell with the most, like, it's fucking, I don't know, do they have these in offices?
Is it a paper cutter?
It
like,
is.
I don't, but like, why is it shaped like a fucking thing you'd see in chopped?
It's like insane.
It's like the thing they used to chop the salads.
Yeah, that's
true. You don't need, what paper are you using that it's that size? You need that size of a knife as well. I thought this was a fucking tech company.
I think it's for cutting reams.
Maybe, I don't know. It's
massive. It's a giant knife. Yeah. Is basically what she does. She's basically found a machete.
Yeah. And so she goes to Cobell's office while they're distracted with the book, and she's like, get me a camera, I'm sending a message to my outie, or else I'm cutting off all my fingers. And you'll have to explain why she has no fingers, which is like, she's very smart the way she's able to try and like figure out how to get the fuck out, right? And this is when I've written down all the tech is so old, the camcorder. Do you know what I was looking at? When they went to say goodbye to her, and they all walked her to the elevator as if to be like, because they think it's going to be her last day and they're letting on that it's going to be her last day. And she's like, bye-bye. I'd say, see you in hell, but you're already here, lol. It seemed like, they had the camera angle focused on like the tops of the corridors. It seemed like there were kind of gaps.
Okay.
In between like the walls and the ceilings.
Right. I didn't notice that
But I don't know if that was, again, I don't know if I'm being too galaxy brain about it all, but I'm kind of like, is this all fake?
I don't even know.
Are they hiding something else up there? I don't know.
I think, but is there not just another floor up there, do you think?
Maybe.
Although they are kind of like windows.
See, we never see stairs is the thing. It all seems to be like the one floor.
And the one person elevator.
One thing I forgot to mention actually that I thought was really interesting in the trivia last week was, the way Mark and Mrs. Selvig's house in the houses in the outside world, they all look 2-story from the outside, but they're all like inside, they're all like 1 story. We never see an upstairs.
That's true. We see it downstairs.
They think that's like deliberate symbolism again for the 2 split lives, which I thought was interesting.
Do you think that there's like a very, very, very high ceiling?
Maybe. But see, Mark's kitchen, the ceiling looks very low. Looks like a small kitchen.
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, that was a tangent I didn't mean to go on, but anyway, I digress. Fucking Architectural Digest.
So yeah, she goes up into the, she threatens to cut off her fingers, and she says, let me make a video. So she says, and so they let her make a video. I don't want to work here, I presume she says. Yeah. And she goes up in the lift, and she says to Mr. Milchek, I was never sorry. And that's kind of, we think, surely that has to be the end of Helly. And we see a POV from her point of view, and she goes up the elevator, comes right back down, and she's holding a different disc, a different video. And the doors open, and it's the exact same thing that she saw when she went up in the elevator.
Yeah, everyone's still there.
Exact same locations. Yeah.
Mark, Dylan, Cobell, Irv, Milchek, like they're all just standing there being like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
And that's when we find they end up playing the disc that Helly has now, and it's from Helly's outie, in which she is essentially like, I literally wrote down, outside Helly is like, I don't give a fuck. She's just like, I don't care.
I don't want to work, basically.
Yeah, she's basically like, bitch, I don't want to work. Go in there and sort the scary numbers, you lazy whore.
Yeah, honestly.
So she says,
I'm a person.
So damning. She says, I am a person, you are not. I make the decisions, you do not. And if you ever do anything to my fingers, know that I will keep you alive long enough to make you ever regret that.
Cold. Like,
Insane.
you can't get colder than that. To yourself. Cold. How much do you have to hate yourself? And also, is it yourself? Or is it another person that you never know?
But it seems like outside Helly doesn't consider it to be her. You know what I mean? Because would you speak to yourself like that? No,
but this is what I'm...
Not to, again, this is from Harry Potter to therapy. Like, being like, and what about your inner self voice, David? Are you nice to yourself?
I think I am nice to myself, but I think if I was coming out of work every day at 5 o'clock, having not remembered the job that I've just done, and being like, I just basically never work, because you can never remember work, would I be like, I'll just get over it? You're unharmed. You have a little... You might have a cut like Mark did when Helly threw the thing at him. But apart from that, you're unharmed and you're free to leave. You come back the next day.
Yeah.
Are you a little bit like, is it that bad?
If you're threatening to cut off your fingers, though, because they must, like, they do experience pain in there.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know?
Oh, yeah, they're still people, aren't they? Yeah, I suppose, yeah. That would be... But if it was like I want to quit, then I'd be like, no, be fine.
Yeah.
If you threaten to cut off your fingers, maybe we need to have a talk. But
maybe it's also the thing of like, she knows that it can't be undone. Like, well, so everyone kind of still thinks at this point. Poor, again, R.I.P.P.D., you would have loved X, formerly known as Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's so seeing the statement and like seeing how at odds there when it's like Helly does not want to be there. Inside any Helly and then outie Helly really wants her to be there, but it's like you're not like I'm like what was the motivation when any Helly does not want to stay there at all? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes I think the Severeds, the innies and the outies are so at odds with. It's like two completely different sides of a coin and a personality. Like it's interesting. I don't know if they like choose that or if it's like does Lumen choose that? You know what I mean? Is it a thing of like where you're making a sim and it's like, yeah, can we make fucking my innie Mark not depressed and like really good at work and like really concentrate and really focus?
I don't think they do that, but the only reason I'd say that is because Mark has nothing to be depressed about. You know, he has no memories of who he is like or anything like that.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do think that I think that her being so mean to her innie makes it seem that innies are seen as less than. And they're stuck, and Helly is now stuck. No matter what, Helly is stuck, and she has no option. Well, we see what she does later on.
Meanwhile, Devon is just fucking pregnant and dying to have a baby, and has to go to this mad birthing cabin that's
also like kind of a ski lodge type vibe.
Ski lodge, chalet. I'm going to be honest, looked quite the rich ladies one, which we'll get to. Hers looked pretty fucking plush. I'm like, get me there. Caboo cabins, just have a little baby, like you know.
Very nice, yeah.
They're talking about that on the phone. Mark is convinced it's Rickon's idea, but Devon seems to be like, no, it's kind of two of them, whatever. So this is just normal Mark at home, and he sees a Pete. I was about to say he sees a Pete report. Oh, R.I.P. Pete. He sees a news report on PD dying because it says it's like what does it say? It's like severed lumen worker dies after mystery collapse.
Did you see the paper that gave the notification?
No.
The Keir Chronicle. Yeah.
Interesting.
Weird.
Yeah.
So weird. That this is now a media...
Fuck, I didn't see that at all.
A media site.
Yeah.
It was like it wasn't breakingnews.ie. It was the Keir Chronicle.
Justice for breakingnews.ie. Okay, so it's really, you are, I think, really on the money about the Amazon thing. When you think about how like Amazon is in pretty much in every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
So there's nothing, I think that's the only comparable thing if you're thinking of a Lumen to an Amazon.
And Apple, yeah.
Apple, yeah, as well, I suppose.
Remember they had like Apple News and things like that. And it was really that moment where I was just like, okay, what is this company?
Yeah.
And we see later on, I'll say that for later on.
Okay. So then we go to Miss Cobell. She's in the office, and they obviously know now that PD is dead, and that's happened. And Mr. Grainer is talking to her about that. He's like, "Have you heard from the board? Are you going to tell them whatever?" And he's like, "Look, it's not your fault that PD died." And he goes, "And it certainly wasn't mine either. So there must have been." Again, that implies that there was some kind of interference, or they had some kind of interaction before he left or whatever. She's very ratty. I'm kind of getting like friends with benefits vibes off the two of them. Are you?
Off Grainer and Cobell.
I feel like they have gotten together before, and like I feel like he's a bit keen, and she's like so like hyper focused, dedicated to the cause, that she cannot even tolerate when he's like a bit like.
That's so funny. I wouldn't even have thought of that.
There's more things that happen that I think that more so than this scenario.
That's fair.
But I think even the fact that they like call each other by first names and stuff. Like they're friendly Harmony, in a way that I don't think the rest of them are. Harmony Cobell, yeah.
Cobell.
Demented.
I did think that when I was like watching the two of them interact, I was like, who's boss here? Because I thought the first time we met Mr. Grainer, I was like, he must be the big boss because he's, Mark was terrified of him. Yeah. More terrified than he was of Cobell. And then the way she talks to him, then she's like, I'll go do this. And I was like, okay, maybe he's her boss. But then she also talks to him in a way that's like, shut up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe she.
It's so confusing because it's like, if Mark is the department head, and I don't understand jobs. Mark is the department head. Milchek is the supervisor. What is Cobell and what is Grainer just like enforcement or something? Enforcement officer? I don't know. But what is Cobell then?
It's like
chief?
Yeah.
Executive?
Yeah,
I'm just saying words now.
She's not CEO.
Yeah.
But she's not even on the board.
She fucking wishes she was CEO.
She's like floor manager.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Floor, yeah, head of the floor. Head of the floor. Maybe. Who knows? Okay, so then they're like, right, PD is dead, but she is concerned because he still has a severance chip in him.
Yeah.
So we learned that as well, that like even though he has like reintegrated, he still had the chip in him, which is also why he was probably freaking the fuck out. Like if the chip had been removed, he might have been fine. That's a good point. Which is really sad. But and they're also it's interesting because she's trying to be like, this is proof like he's successful, or like, well, he didn't successfully because he died again, RIPPD, but he's like, oh, this is proof of like reintegration. And Grainer's like, the board do not acknowledge reintegration. Stop talking about it. She's like, I don't really care. We need to get this.
It's so corporate. It's like the same thing I was saying in the last episode, where it's like when you say something to your boss, where it's like, what if this happens? And the boss is like, that won't happen.
No.
Don't worry about it.
Literally.
And you're like, but it's very much a thing now.
Literally.
I'm curious as to why she's freaking out about the chip. The chip's still in PD's head.
Yeah.
She wants it back. Who's going to go looking for that, first of all? And the other thing I'm thinking of is, why does she want it back? Does she want it back to check what happened? Does she want it back because she's worried that people will try and dig it out of PD's head to research them? What is she worried about?
So I think, I don't think anyone was going to go looking for it, especially with the cremation. Like you'd imagine like it's probably
a cremation.
Yeah. I don't think it was necessarily that she'd a fear of anyone going looking for it, but I do think there's obviously information on the chip that
she wants to see.
Yeah. So
interesting.
I think more so than that. So as you said, he's been cremated, so she's like, right, I'm going to sort it out. Fucking leave it with me, Grinner. We see her praying over a picture of Egan. What do you think is going on there? Like,
it's. I think if a cult created a media conglomerate that's also a tech company, it's this. Yeah. It's a cult. It has to be. There's I'm never going to say it, but there is like a certain religion out there that's very kind of this vibe.
Okay.
And I think it's like if they had a tech company. Okay.
Very interesting.
What do you think?
I just think I think she wants to scale the ladder, but she's kind of so shit at her job that I'm like, what are you like, especially with someone who seems to be as into it, if not more into it than like Irv or anything, you know what I mean? Like into the rules, into the foundations, like the beliefs, the principles, the pillars
since
of it.
We know that she's not severed.
Yeah.
Like, and she's still praying to Keir. Like,
yeah.
I would like to know, does Irv go home and still pray to Keir? Is he a Keir believer on the outside as well as in the inside?
How much do they know about Keir on the outside, though?
I have no idea. Well, I'd imagine they don't know a lot because, as I said, the Keir Chronicle. He's obviously someone.
But maybe they don't realise that because none of them know what they do for work.
Yeah. But even on the outside, sorry to just keep fighting your argument here, when they walk through Lumen, before they're even on the severed floor, there's giant head of Keir. Oh, he was amazing. He drank 3 eggs for breakfast.
Rotzers. Okay, that remains to be seen. We will have to come back to that. Mark goes to Peter's funeral, and who should be there but Miss Selvig?
Yeah.
Weird.
Also, by the way, if you still haven't caught up, Selvig is Cobell. Cobell and Selvig are the exact same person.
Yeah, they're all Patricia Arquette.
But also, I kind of want to know, where are you getting a church where there's a bar?
Yeah.
Christmas Mass would be wild.
Where was that going on? Now, I don't think it was a church. I feel like it was giving funeral home, but even then, I do not know a funeral home that was a bar. No. I do not know a funeral home that's actively serving wine.
That'd be amazing.
It would kind of be amazing, yeah. To be honest, though, I did just think it was hilarious when he went up and goes, whiskey on the rocks, and your mum was like, sir, this is a Wendy's. Like, what are you, it's red or white wine.
Yeah, like. It's red or white.
And he's like, red, please. Mrs. Selvig is there. They decide to, her explanation for why she said Peter's funeral is that he used to come into her shop all the time and get a hibiscus wrap. What does she work as? What's a hibiscus wrap?
Well, obviously she works in Lumen, like we...
Yeah, this is her fake job.
It's her fake job, but like Mark has obviously never visited, is probably never going to visit, probably has never asked a question about where she works, because he kind of... I'm thinking, does he kind of look at Mrs. Selvig like, oh, she's just my elderly, harmless neighbour?
There's sympathy there, there's no interest.
Sympathy with no interest, yes.
I have Mark gets a drink and asks for whiskey on the rocks at a funeral. Insane, lol.
Story of my last relationship.
PD's in the casket, obviously, R.I.P. PD. His daughter June is over him. PD had obviously mentioned June, and that's me putting 2 and 2 together, but I don't think she's been introduced yet. There's loads of pictures in the funeral home of PD and June together, and then we meet Nina, Peter's ex-wife.
Yeah.
And she sees Mark and she introduces herself.
She's a little bit she's not happy that Mark is there almost.
No, because I'd say she's looking at him and being like, I don't think she immediately twigs, but I'd say she's looking at him being like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Which again, I'm like, I hope we get more about what the fuck was going on with PD in season 2. I don't know if we will. I really hope we do though. As to what was going on there, because you'd wonder then how recently were they divorced, and how long was PD in Lumen, that she wasn't immediately able to, you know what I mean? It's all a bit interesting. So she does twig he's from Lumen when she's like, why don't you recognize me? Or even to not recognize me, but I've said I'm his ex-wife, and there's not a blip of a reaction. It's kind of Mark being like, oh yeah, of course. And then she's like, oh yeah, you're from Lumen.
Yeah, you must be.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting that Mark still didn't tell her.
About what he knew. Because Mark is, even though he knows nothing really, he just knows that Peter showed up to his house and was just like, you need to know all of this information. Yeah.
But he didn't say, he was like, yeah, he came to me. He just even said to the wife, oh, I just presumed I know him.
Yeah.
As if he was, I thought that was quite clever. But
maybe that's why. Maybe he's trying to bide his time to get more info before he does anything as well.
This is why I'm thinking that this is interesting, because this is so out of character for Mark. Mark is depressed. Mark is the person that wants to work in Lumen because he's depressed on the outside. He doesn't want to live his day. He doesn't want to spend 8 hours a day thinking about his dead wife.
Yeah.
That's why he signed up to Lumen. That's why he signed up to be severed.
Mm.
This is not like him.
Mm.
He's a very obedient, go to work. Even when he's depressed as hell and he's outside crying in his car, he still goes to work. Why is he now suddenly being like, oh, maybe I should check out this place. Maybe I should get more information. Maybe I should get answers. Why would you want to know? I think he's growing as a character.
Yeah, I think so too. The funeral begins, and also we meet June. June comes over at one point to be like, the
daughter.
Sermon's about to start, whatever. And again, she's Nina's trying to get June away from Mark, because she's obviously I don't really want to fraternize with this. Mm-hmm. You know what I thought was weird? Why was June sitting so far down at the funeral? Do they not usually sit closer, immediate family?
Yeah, they would.
And she was sitting fucking halfway down.
Was she?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Because that's why she was near to Mark.
Where was the ex-wife or wife sitting?
Also fair. Where the fuck was she?
Who's up the front then?
I don't know. Bizarre. I don't know. So they're kind of sitting semi near each other, and they're kind of chatting, whatever. And again, June twigs that he's from Lumen. She's immediately allergic, right? It's like you never knew. The whole thing is like you never really knew who he was because you knew him from work.
There's a almost a look down on him. We've seen this before in characters who kind of looking down on people who are severed. Like we've seen it with like maybe not looking down is maybe not the right terminology, but definitely curious and oh really?
Yeah.
You know, it's like saying you're I don't know, Fionn Gaylor at the age of 25. You're like, oh really? Tell me more. Why? do you know what I mean? I don't even know if we'd allowed to say that. But I just think it's just.
I'll allow you say it.
But it's just like, why?
Yeah, it definitely seems to be like more often. It's not a popular thing to do. Like, it's not as widespread as people would have. Like,
But is it becoming more? So?
Yeah, because it seems like there's no one else in the outside world that Mark knows bar Petey. Like, and he didn't know Petey, and he met Petey through these kind of insane circumstances. So, yeah. Because they're kind of letting it on that it's like, you know, like it's a normal thing to do, and like, why would you not split yourself in two? But like, the majority are like, no, this is a bit demented? Like, it's not. It's a smally bit demented.
So they go home anyway after. So he's at the funeral, and that music is playing.
They play a video of Petey and June together playing Metallica.
Yeah.
Enter Sandman. Enter the Sandman. Is it Enter Sandman? Enter Sandman. They're playing it, and Mark is feeling really conflicted. You could tell he's feeling really conflicted because it's like he's seeing this human person on screen who like had this amazing connection with his daughter, and like they loved each other so much and bonded through music, and he has these memories of Petey coming to him like desperate for help in the worst way possible, and he kind of died on his watch essentially. As much as like, you know, look, Mark can do whatever he wants and whatever else, it was just a bit like, I can understand why you'd come. And then it's also you're grappling with the fact that like you knew this person but you didn't. You seemingly knew this person, you have no memories of them. So he goes to leave, but we don't realise in the meantime, like during the ceremony,
while that song is playing,
Selvig has gone back into because the casket isn't within the ceremony space. Selvig has gone back to where the casket is to get the chip out.
That's also weird. Why is the ceremony taking place?
Well, maybe it's normal for cremation. I'm going to be honest, I just don't really know.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, why would you have the body in a different room and then all talk? You know what I mean? It's very odd.
It just seems a bit inefficient or something.
Does it seem a little bit like bad writing, maybe?
Well, the only other thing is, was he maybe, I know sometimes that people will have like clothes. Well, the casket wasn't closed then. I was going to say if he was a bit in bits, like they closed the casket, like out of respect.
Yeah.
I can't say a bit in bits and then say out of respect, can I? It's fine, it doesn't matter. So, maybe I can't say that. Yeah, like, I don't know. Well, like, is it bad writing, or it's just like, well, obviously they needed a way to be able for her to get him alone, because then what planet would she have ever been able to be alone with him?
Yeah, it just seems very handy that the coffin is in a different room to the ceremony, and so she can go in and drill a literal hole. Drill
into his head, which again, I'm like, I know they're playing the music, but I'm like, how are you not hearing a fucking DeWalt power drill going into some fella's noggin, like? Bit demented. She's able to get the chip anyway, so she's absolutely delighted, and perfect timing because Mark is just leaving after having his banger. He goes in actually to take one last look at
that hole always there? And they go to say their final goodbyes.
And like, surely, guys, maybe don't write in and explain what happens to bodies, but like, surely there's still liquid in there, no?
There must be.
Or does everything kind of just immediately all
Not a chance, there's still liquid.
Well, sorry, I know they drain the blood out of the body, don't they? Adam's nodding.
Yeah.
But what about the fucking brain juice? No. Okay, anyway, I don't know. Don't explain. I mean it now. Don't write in and explain. I don't want to know. Miss Selvig is leaving, so she's like, oh, whatever, we'll go together. They were talking about like being each other's funeral buddies, and she actually asks him then when they get home, she's like, oh, why were you so upset? Was the funeral just too sad? And he's kind of like, yeah, kind of, I don't know, it was just a bit odd, whatever. I noted down that he lives at number 34. I don't know if that's any significance, but I've noted it for my notes.
Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you. The investigation continues.
You know when they say, you know, they get home and they kind of say their goodbyes, and Selvig goes in and he's about to go in. And this was interesting because Mark decides not to go in. to the house. Is he pretending to go into the house? Because he opens the door and then shuts it immediately. Is he pretending so Selvage doesn't follow him? Or is he just deciding in that moment, I'm going to go and find some answers?
I don't think so. I think one thing we forgot to mention also in the moment is that he was probably, the last time he was at a funeral was probably Gemma's. And I think he was struck by the grief of that as well. And and also, again, maybe this is the official anniversary that day or something. So, because again, I thought he was going back to where he found Petey.
So did I.
And I was like, oh yeah. And I was saying it to Cian, and Cian was like, that's fully not where Petey was. Like, what are you on about? I'm presuming it's where the crash happened.
That's where the crash happened, where his wife died, and he's holding the tree, and you know, that's a big moment for him. Yeah.
Which is very sad.
I have lines on my notes for every time they go out.
Yeah.
And it's like they're outies, and then every time it's their inning. So we're back in now.
We're back in now. They're running diagnostics on Petey's chip because she has it. Grainer's like impressed. She's like, run diagnostics. You need to find out who fucking started all this, right? So that's what we're doing. And then she calls for a wellness session, a special wellness session for Marcus. And Milkshak's like, Marcus doesn't need a wellness session. That fella's fine. And she's like, no, like, whenever, we're just going to do this, whatever.
Which
Miss
is
Casey.
because she knows
because he's having a fucking...
She's seen his outie.
Yeah. And again, it must be like, they must know that they're not truly severed because they do have some... You know what I mean? If she's acknowledging that, like, his outside sadness is going to impact the innie sadness in some way, shape, or form.
So she's going to...
So that's why she's, like, starting this wellness session with Miss Casey and her fuck-ass Bob. We love it.
But before that, we had Bert and Irv.
Oh,
having
yes.
a little chat, I think. And one of them says to the other, are you embarrassed?
Yeah, Bert says he was excited to see someone from... When they're meeting up again, he's trying to explain about, like, what happened. Without saying it as much, but he's trying to explain, like, what happened when he went and, like, touched his hand. Says he was excited to see someone from MDR. Hopes he hasn't embarrassed himself. Yeah. He doesn't, like, go as far as apologising, but he's like...
That's what Bert said to Irv, yeah. And Irv says, are you embarrassed?
Yeah.
And Bert says, no. I just love that so much.
And Irv's like, no, you haven't embarrassed yourself.
And meanwhile, Mark is reading the book. We see Mark is reading the Rickon book.
Yes. Which is like, as much as it's a lot of like mumbo jumbo, insane.
To us, as outies.
Well, yeah, sorry, that's fair. This is like radical to the innies because it's like, it's it's kind of bizarrely written, but it's essentially like very anti-capitalist, very anti-jobs, anti-work, anti-traditional work. Because Rickon's talking about these experiences he had out working.
Yeah, what does it say? It says your job needs you, not the other way around.
Yeah, which is like...
By the way, can we just appreciate Rickon for 1 second? He said something good. Well done, Rickon.
I always knew you had it in you. I always said that, Rickon. He always had it in him.
More of that now, fella.
More of that. Yeah, but as you said, when you're an innie and your whole purpose is just to work, and you'd be reading that and you'd be like, that's fucking rocked my socks,
that's
girls.
Insane, yeah.
Yeah. He's reading that.
And Mark goes to meet Miss Casey.
Yeah. Irv also, is this around the time where Irv notices an O&D that like there's more than just two of them? Or does that happen later?
That is at the very end.
Okay, never mind then. We march on. So while Mark's reading the book, he's distracted. Irv's with Bert. He's distracted. Dylan is working very hard because he wants his perks. He's also distracted. So Helly is like, it's time to get out of here for good.
And so she's gone, but it's her time to finish for the day.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. So she's like, bye Dylan. And Dylan's like, I'm going to stay on. I'm crushing these numbers, whatever. He says something vaguely like that. But she's like peering over his cubicle. So he doesn't see that in her hands, she has... It's a rope, right? They mention extension cords in the next episode, but I think it's just that they've... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a rope, but I think they just moved the extension cords. Again, we'll have a trigger warning at the start of this episode, but just again, there will be references to suicide in this following discussion. She has a rope in her hands. Again, nobody has noticed because everyone is off kind of doing their own thing. And she leaves work with the rope in her hand. She's heading to the lift. And in the meantime, we're seeing kind of where everyone else is at. So Mark is actually in the middle of his wellness session with Miss Casey. And Miss Casey is asking him to shape how he feels in clay. So he is like starting to do that.
How would you shape yourself in clay?
How would I shape myself? How I'm feeling in clay?
I was thinking a ball and then just a load of spikes out of the ball. I just thought it would be
What the fuck happened to you between the last time I saw you?
Lots going on in this head, Nuala.
Yeah.
Lots going on.
Like those balls that are in Mario. That have the fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very that vibe. I think I would form myself in the shape of a hot water bottle.
Oh, very nice.
Little cozy girl today. He shapes himself as a tree. Is that the tree that... I was trying to figure out the significance of that.
That's genius.
Is it where she hit the car?
That's so good. Yeah, that must be. But I was also thinking, like, just, I don't know, branches. I was like, deep. That's deep, man. Don't know. Didn't look into it at all.
That's so deep,
Or didn't think about it.
Wait, sorry. Oh my God.
Figured something out.
In the wellness session, did you see the candle?
No.
It's red and green. It's like the one in Mark's house that fucking Cobell was smelling in the basement.
Really?
Do you remember I was like, I don't know why they spent so much time on that. It's kind of weird. Anyway.
Interesting.
And it's right next to Miss Casey. I was like, that was when I was going to text you and I was like, he does not want to hear from me and I'll talk to him tomorrow. I was screaming.
Stop.
So what? Like, everything is so connected.
Yeah.
Like, they're never out of the one world. It's freaky. Dylan finds the book.
Yeah.
Well,
he goes looking for the book.
Yeah, he's looking for the book. The UUR. Yeah, because obviously they know the book is there, but like they're just passing it around at this point, are they? Or like
no, because they
not actually passing it around, but like
they agreed because Mark said that they're going to hand it in to Milchek. And
yes,
so
sorry.
They from their perspective, they're just going, oh, Mark must have handed it in. But he puts it in his files. And Dylan thinks, I think Dylan is a bit suspicious of Mark. Not that he's going to be like, he's going to tell on him or anything. I think he's just like, let's see what Mark's up to. Looks in his files, finds the book. And he says, knew it.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. Mark is making himself as a tree. We already said that. Yeah. Irv at this point is kind of wandering around O&D and he finds this kind of backsliding door in the section and it's huge. And there's actually like 6 or 7 people in the department and they're all kind of working away. They haven't copped that Irv is there and has seen him and has seen them. Irv is a bit shook as to be like, why did Bert lie to me? So Irv leaves. And then we're back to Helly, who, as I said, is preparing to hang herself in the lift to try and get out of Lumen once and for all. Yeah. But while this is happening, she's also having these like happy memories of Mark, it seems, of them like kind of flirting and like talking to each other over. It seems to be like a memory from nearly earlier in the day where it was like she was doing the work and like getting on fine and Mark was kind of like praising her.
Well done,
But yeah, it seemed to be like, I don't know again if it was like a regret thing or something.
Do you think that was memories? Or do you think that was just like, we're going to show you this scene?
I was just about to ask you that. I don't know.
I don't think it was memories. I don't think she's thinking about that in that moment. I think this is just a moment as to why she thinks this is the end. It's because Mark is congratulating her on seeing scary numbers. And she's like, I can't fucking...
Yeah, I think she's up to like 4% or something. And he's like, woohoo, good for you.
That's amazing. And she's like, Jesus, I've done 4% of this and I hate it.
Yeah.
And I think that she is trying to kill herself because I think she's also trying to punish her outie.
Yeah.
Because when she goes up in that elevator, her outie will be awake.
Yeah. Do you want to know who directed this episode?
Ben Stiller.
No, Aoife McArdle, and she's Irish.
Stop, I know. I was going to tell you about this girl, Aoife McArdle, yeah.
How the fuck do we get her on the podcast?
It's her and Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Up in Oma. We love you, Queen. Yeah, I need to get on to her. But yeah, anyway, the episode ends. Again, with it, I don't want to go into like too much excessive detail, but again, I know anyone that's listening to this has watched this. Helly has like hung herself in the lift, fade to black, whatever, directed by Aoife McArdle. Again, Aoife, for the love of... Do you know what? One of the Succession writers ended up listening to the Succession recap podcast.
Really?
So Stranger Things Have Happened. Yeah, shout out to you. I love you. She was a patron as well for a while as well. And that's it. Let me check the trivia page, see if we missed anything interesting.
That's also the moment after that we see that Irv goes in and he finds out it's a lot more people than O&D.
Yes.
And what is it, like 7 people?
Yeah.
They think it's 2.
This is actually the first episode of the series not directed by Ben Stiller. So there you go.
Really good episode though. Yeah.
Very, very good. Okay, so that brings us nicely to episode 5.
Episode 5, The Grim Barbarity of Optics and Design. Our longest title, I think.
The Grim Barbarity of Optics and Design. What a title. Oh my God. Okay.
We're really getting into it now. And like even talking about it, I'm like, can we hurry up so I can go home and watch Severance?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just can't wait.
Okay, so Mark is leaving work. He's heading to the lift. and he's after his wellness session. He's feeling well, and he ends up seeing, because I think also because he would have missed her, because you know the way they stagger them. I think he usually leaves earlier, doesn't he? But I think maybe because the wellness session he was delayed. I'm not really sure. He ends up seeing Helly in the lift on the noose, and real life Helly comes through as well, realizes she's in a noose. There's no one on the outside at that. Your man Rog, that's the security guard, isn't there to help her. So the lift goes back up. So she immediately kind of re-severs again and is back in the office. And that's when Mark finds her. So it's Mark and Grainer trying to get her down. They're panicking.
There's no one looking after these very clearly unstable people.
Well, Milchek is supposed to be... He's fucking shit at his job.
They're all shit at their job.
They're so shit at their jobs.
Mark, Dylan, Irv, Bert, Helly, they're all terrible. Everyone's
I do think Dylan is good at his job.
Dylan is the only one who actually does the job. That's a good point.
And I think Irv started being good at his job and is rapidly falling off the cliff. Yeah, he's kind of distracted. So does Mark unsever and then come back? Yeah. So Mark.
Yes.
They make Mark go home.
This is interesting.
They make Mark go home and they're like, you go the fuck, whatever, you're done for the day. We'll sort it out, it's fine. He unsevers, but then I need to stop saying unsevers because he doesn't technically unsever, but he goes back into the real life world. When he comes, and he goes back down, and obviously he's fucking chipper as ever. He's like, bye, Jod. Happy, because he doesn't know what he's just witnessed and what he's seen. And everything. He's like, la, 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 la.
It's such a fantastic way of visualizing that.
Yeah.
Is the second he goes up in that lift, just he doesn't know what he's just seen literally 5 seconds ago.
And he is so bloody good at it. He's so good at it. Because when he comes back then to the office, you have that moment of when he goes up the lift and he's back as Mark S. And he's like, because he's obviously where he's just been left is they found Helly in the noose and they don't know what the fuck is happening.
They don't really know if she's alive, what's going on, and he's freaking out. But it's been 24 hours.
Yeah.
So he looks down at the ground expecting to still see her because that was the last thing he saw 5 seconds ago in his mind. And obviously she's not there. She's been taken away, taken to hospital. And they kind of say she'll be back.
Yeah, they're like, don't worry about it. She's in hospital. She's fine. She's not dead. She minor bruising, but she's fine.
And she'll return to work soon.
And he's like, well, surely, not being funny, she has just tried to kill herself. Surely this needs to be the end.
Why do they want Helly in so bad? Why do they want her to be in that office?
Yeah.
Why do they want to torture her? Why do they want her to be miserable?
Because you'd think at this point, is it
that's a workplace hazard.
When I think about when they're like, you can't unsever, there's no reintegration, surely it is a thing of just taking the chip out, drilling in it. If someone really didn't
just
want
not going to a severed floor.
Yeah.
Of anything.
Yeah, or just not going to work anymore.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. I think it'd be fine if you just don't go to work, if you've got a new job.
But see, on the outside, she wants to go to work. Well, she don't. Outside Helly doesn't, but she's
seriously, outside Helly needs to have a look at herself.
Honestly. So, as you said, Miss Cobell, Milchek are waiting for him and they explain all that. That's fine. And they're also this is on you. You're the department head and she tried to kill herself. What were you fucking doing? He is back in the office and he's reading a section on failure by Rickon in the book. And he's because again, I don't think he's ever experienced it on this level. And they're putting the blame firmly at his feet when it's not, needless to fucking say.
This book is ridiculous, though, can we just say? Did you ever see Modern Family? And
yes.
Phil Dunphy has his philosophy.
Oh, no.
And he comes up with this book and he's like, when life gives you lemonade, make lemons. Life will be all what? This is Rickon's book. All of it makes no sense.
Yeah, because...
he's trying to have a point. He's trying so desperately to have a point and he just doesn't.
Because he was talking about, obviously this is Rickon's 5th book, question mark.
What more does that man have to write?
And he's talking about how if his failure was the literature world wouldn't let me in. And he said... And he was like, oh, yeah, you know what? Literature itself was wrong. He says in the book that he's written, which is incredible.
It's like that. It's when they give... Anyone can have a podcast and you see those, men on TikTok and they're like, oh, yeah, man, you just gotta, gotta...
Life is so short, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta live it. Or that man that's I live 3 separate lives in one day. What are you all doing? And you're all here. And this is what I do my first 12 hours. And then my second day starts at 10 o'clock and I'm like, that's time! That's the concept of time!
Stop writing your book. Stop podcasting.
No, stop. Make podcasting equipment more expensive. That's what I say. And that's probably what the listeners are saying listening to this. But he's slowly getting indoctrinated by reading this because, again, as you said, this is rocking his fucking world. Whereas to us on the outside, we're like, okay, maybe not. The PD's chip comes back. And as it turns out, his memory was reintegrated, according to diagnostics, which is supposedly not supposed to exist. Yeah. So Grainer's like, sorry, girlie, you were actually right. And he says they should celebrate. And she's like, not having a bar of it.
Did he?
100% shagged. They did, like.
Oh my God.
They did. You can't tell me otherwise. They shagged, and she's like realizing that he's a distraction from the ultimate goal, which is like, I think she wants to be CEO. She can't be because she
wants to be on the board.
Really bad. I think she's further aspirations than that. I think CEO is probably on the board, is it? Who the fuck knows what the board is at this point?
Yeah, that's true because like the break room and things like that.
Yeah,
is not really what you consider a break room.
Yeah. So at this point, Ben Grainer learns that she hasn't told the board. So he's like, when are you going to tell the board about this? And then he was like, are you leaving some breathing space between this and Helly? And she doesn't answer. And he's like, oh my God, you haven't told them about Helly. And then she's like, yeah, and I'm not telling them about this PD shit and this reintegration shit until I have all the information. So you can kind of see, like, do you reckon, is she worried that she'll be reprimanded? Is she trying to show that she can sort it all herself to go back to the board then and be like, look what I did, best girlie in class?
Yeah, do you think she's trying to one-up him?
Grainer?
Yeah.
I don't think he has the same aspirations as her. I'm not getting that, no.
I don't know what to think about their relationship. It's really, really confusing to me, and I've no answers for you on that one. I just don't get it. I don't understand what's going on there. I'm
getting sexual chemistry. Don't ask me why. There's really no basis for that, but that's the vibe.
Apart from the celebrate thing is interesting.
There's something. Wait till later. Wait till when we start talking about episode 6. I think there is something else there as well. So then we have Mark coming out of work. Yeah. And he's getting his phone and he realizes he has like 8,000 missed calls from Rickon. Rickon has tried to ring him from work and is leaving loads of messages being like, hey Mark S, I know you're in work and literally cannot access or hear this call, but Devin has gone into labour. They're gone to the birthing retreat and they obviously want him to be there or whatever. It's
very clear that Rickon hasn't a clue at this point because he's like, oh, also if this is Mark's like inner worky person, just tell him, like his sister's having a baby.
Yeah. It's so funny. So he heads to birthing retreat cabin number 6 and he ends up meeting the midwife, Alexa, on the way out. They obviously haven't seen each other since the last date. It's a bit, kind of awkward, but otherwise I think she's like kind of like, obviously she's there to do a job and she's like, yeah, look, Devin's grand, everything's fine, glad you're here or whatever. And he apologises about the date. So again, at least he recognises that like it was a bit...
That was good.
All over the place.
But now we are starting to see Rickon in peak Rickon.
Rickon is crying. Once again, Rickon not the one giving birth. Rickon is crying over Devin and her baby bump.
Physically. Like he's over her and he's crying.
and Devin is like, I'm obsessed with Devin. Devin's like, whatever, okay. And
why is she with him?
Honestly, it's
because she's like, he's so weird.
She's way too cool to be with him. It's
so
cool. Irritating. So her contractions are 20-30 minutes apart. So at the minute she's fine, but then she gets a contraction, so she's obviously in fucking bits and she's like in pain. So Rickon has this idea that if the baby comes into Earth, wants to go into the Earth with like pure and good thoughts and in a pure and good atmosphere and like full of truth because it's better for the baby. The
fetus is drawn to clear air.
Yes, the fetus is drawn to clear air is what he says. Totally normal. Couldn't agree more. So he says. So he encourages people to tell secrets and like admit, like, cleanse themselves of the secrets, whatever. But it's clearly because he wants to say something, and it's that he's annoyed that Mark never said thank you for the book. And it's been a couple of weeks.
That's such a great point.
A couple of days.
Such a great point that it's clearly because he wants to say he's pissed off at Mark.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit.
But he doesn't. He's terrified. Like, Rickon strikes me as someone who is terrified of confrontation. Like, cannot do it at all. So Mark is like, respectfully, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about because as we know, they intercepted the book is gone. Mark in real life has never seen the book, doesn't know what he's on about. So he's like, oh, it might have been stolen. So then Rickon is freaking out, people like being like, oh my God, people are going to leak my book, whatever. Devin's like, right, I'm out, deuces.
Yeah,
she's going to go get coffee.
But I thought it was interesting that Rickon is like, You know, I thought it was very funny, first of all, that Rick was like, you know, the person that robbed it, they'll probably return it and then turn themselves in after reading the book. It's like, shut up.
Yeah,
man.
he's like, as long as they read the book, like, I'm happy. Like, I think once they read a book, like, that'll make the difference.
And they'll turn themselves in there.
Sweetie.
For stealing it.
She goes to get a coffee, and Rickon, while she's gone, wants to hang Kelp. Now, I thought this was just a weird Rickon thing, but I said I'd Google it because maybe there's a wives' tale thing about giving birth
Google it
or
as
whatever.
well, and then I thought, no, this definitely...
I'm going to share this information with you, and it's probably going to traumatise everyone in this room, and rightly so. That's the burden you bear as men. But also, might prepare you for the girly quiz in the future at some point.
Great.
Or maybe you could put it to the girls, because I don't think they'll know this either. Okay, so there's something about hanging the kelp.
That we do a girly quiz on, by the way, just in case.
There's something about hanging that it becomes like, or it's referred to also as laminaria. So laminaria are sterilised, dried sticks of seaweed that absorb fluid from the cervix, in brackets, the opening of the uterus, and slowly expand to dilate, in brackets, open your cervix.
Right.
So usually instead of hanging the kelp or the lamaria, they like put it in the cervix to open it.
I was thinking, after you told me that, I was like, so are they hanging it for ease of access so they can just reach up, grab, put it in?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It's kind of like hanging up the washing. It's like, Brad, pull that off, put it in.
Like a seaweed clothes bag. Oh, no. No, I think it's just... I don't know. I'd say Rickon is like, if it's hanging, like, it'll be in the air and like everyone will be open.
Do you know when you're wrapping presents and you take off multiple pieces of sellotape and put them half on the table?
Yeah.
So that when you're wrapping it, you can just take one off and put it on.
This is so horrific.
But this is an interesting part because this is the kind of moment where we realise that Rickon is aware that Mark doesn't get him. Because he's like, we hang the kelp, and Mark is like, what? And Rick is like, do you really want me to explain, man? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Rickon
like,
knows.
But also for Rickon, he's like, this is obviously completely normal. Like, I've done my research on this. Like, how could you not know this?
Yeah.
And then Mark's like, what are you on about?
I think he's just like, Mark doesn't get me. I think he's aware of that.
Demented. So Devon's on a mission for coffee, and she goes out to... They're in one of, like, the quote-unquote lower birthing cabins, because it's what they could afford. But there are much nicer ones on the campus. And as she's walking around, she ends up seeing a woman in one of the posher ones who's having coffee. So she asks her if she can have some coffee.
Yeah,
she's
we
like,
later learned that her name is Gabriella.
Yeah, but she's also... There's a man outside initially, and she's trying to get that man's attention, and he either... It seems like he doesn't hear her, or does he ignore her? Question mark. I'm not really sure. But this is the man in this cabin with Gabby, as you said. So they're kind of chatting, whatever, as expectant mums do. This is Gabby's third child. They're planning on naming him William. Devon asks if she's rich, which is hilarious. Like, I kind of love that Devon has a bit of...
She does have that in her, doesn't she?
Foot and mouth disease.
And yet,
like,
have you seen their fucking house?
It's
stunning.
Yeah, demented.
Like, as if Devon's not rich somehow as well.
Yeah, what are they... Like, because Rickon is not... Is Rickon the earner?
Is Rickon the earner from all the books, is it?
Give over, girls.
Book sales.
With all the book sales, yeah. So she's kind of joking about wanting to set her up with Mark and stuff like that. They just have kind of like a nice conversation, and that's it, whatever. And again, it seems kind of innocuous. Readers, it is not innocuous. I hate that. I actually didn't realise the storyline comes in as early as it does. I thought it was much later.
So did I.
And then when it started happening again, I was like, oh, just the whole thing makes me feel weird. She goes back to Mark. They have their coffee, and she's also saying about... She says Alexa would probably give Mark another shot. And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, no, like, she would, like, but, like, you also need to initiate something. Yeah. Rickon is asleep at this point, but then she's having another contraction. So Mark is like, I'll tell a secret, will I? And she's like, yeah, do go on. And he says, I kind of think Lumen might be up to something.
Yeah.
Which again is like, you can tell this is eating at him for him to tell his sister, because they obviously have such a close relationship. They love each other. They really trust each other. Mm-hmm. He must be worried, because I don't think he would have even inferred something if he wasn't.
I think he would have wrote that down in his own diary.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He would be, but I also think he's quite paranoid at this point.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of saying it. He's very quiet. He's very like, I think, like, almost as if he wants your one Devon to be like, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got paranoid vibes off him.
No, I think he wants someone to immediately put him at ease, to be like, what, like, either for her to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, they're not. Like, it's just work. And, or as you said, be like, yeah, I think so. But because he doesn't get that, because the contractions are coming thick and fast, she's in bits.
Yeah, bad timing, man.
Yeah, really bad timing. Pick your moments. Rickon wakes up. And Devin ends up having a lovely baby girl who we learn is called Eleanor later on. And we hear that happening while Mark is sitting outside looking at some kind of lake wherever the birthing cabin is. All the while, Petey's phone is still ringing. Yes. Petey's phone has not stopped ringing, right? So then we're back inside and work. And it's Milchick preparing Mark to meet Helly for when she comes back, after obviously being off after the suicide attempt.
Yeah, and he asked to do kind eyes.
Can you make kind eyes?
I think I could. I was actually practicing this yesterday. Okay, listener, I'm going to do kind eyes now.
I don't know.
See, I'm not kind.
I don't know if that's kind. I think that's surprise.
So great, go on.
Can I do kind?
Give us a go. No, that's terrifying. I'm not just saying that because... No, we need to get this.
Oh, okay, well, thank God we have cameras. Okay, you try and do it again. I can't see without my glasses. That's not kind, David! That's fucking weird!
It's because the...
How do you do, like... No, yeah, it's
okay,
too much eyebrow.
Alright.
No, did I? When you're just focusing on the eyes, I feel like you lose control of every other part of your face. I don't know, anyway. Well, needless to say, Mark can't fucking do it either because he looks... demented.
He looks terrifying.
Again, love you, Adam Scott. So then Helly does come back in and he doesn't really know how to manage it, because again, I don't think the severed work versions aren't built for this. Like,
they don't know about death, really.
Yeah,
they don't know
about death. Death isn't supposed to be something that happens. Obviously, she hasn't died, but like, not being funny again. We have no concept of time. We have no idea how long she was actually up there for by the time someone like saw her or whatever. Who the fuck, like, was she revived? We don't actually know that, whatever. But he's kind of saying, look, we know what went on. Well, he doesn't say that, but he's like, look, no, you had a hard time. You can look for happy numbers for the time being. And she's kind of like scoffing at him because she cannot believe she's back here. Like, she is so out of options now where it's like, okay, I can't do anything.
She's literally no other option, really, does she? And I thought it was interesting that Irv wants to inspire her.
Yes.
And Dylan wants to give her stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, give her incentives. And Irv's like, no, read her Keir's diary or something. You know what I mean?
Irv suggests putting inspirational quotes in the office for her to like happen upon.
That's so funny. So Irv.
And then Dylan says she needs to focus on the perks. Yeah. I think at one point she's also, Mark asks her if she wants to talk about it, and she like walks off. She's like, I don't really want to engage with this at all. Yeah. So then we have Miss Casey here, and she's observing Helior, obviously because of what happened and because she's head wellness girly or whatever. So she's observing Helly to make sure, like,
she's HR almost.
Yeah, she says it quite clinically that it comes across funny. Needless to say, listeners, when I'm laughing, I'm not laughing at the concept of what's happening, but I'm laughing at Miss Casey being like, I need to make sure she doesn't kill herself again, essentially. Yeah. Like, it's just so delivered, so deadpan. It's just...
She's weird, Miss Casey.
She is weird in a way that because, look, you can argue that, like, maybe you wouldn't want to be friends with Dylan or Irv or Mark because of their own, like, quirks. Mm-hmm. But they are kind of fully fleshed humans, you know what I mean? They have their...
She's robotic.
Yeah, they have their own office banter. They're able to hold conversations with each other. They understand jokes and stuff. Yeah. Miss Casey, it's very one-dimensional. It's very... I'm here to do a job. I have to say this thing.
But it's not even I'm here to do a job. Like, that's an attitude in itself.
Yeah, she's actually not like that.
She has no attitude.
Yeah.
There is no attitude. There's no
personality.
No personality whatsoever. It's just ChatGPT. That's who you're talking to.
Yeah. I actually have written down here, which maybe I'll come back to it for the next episode, because I think it makes more sense in that context.
So she's to watch Helly for signs of sadness.
Yeah, and we see Helly, she's starting to pull out her own eyelashes, and then Miss Casey is like, again, not being funny, if you were a wellness coordinator, which neither of us are qualified for, I don't think, are you? No. Okay. You're seeing someone pulling out their own eyelashes, you're going to go, that's probably not a good sign. Yeah. But Miss Casey is just like, instead of like immediately intervening, Miss Casey is like, are you all right? And Helly's like, yeah, I'm just peachy. Because Miss Casey's like, are you sad? And she's like, no, I'm just peachy.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
No sadness here.
No sadness to be seen here.
You know all those signs of sadness? Don't worry about it.
No, don't. Sadness? Never heard of it. Irv is dozing off again and we're seeing more black liquid.
Yeah, this is more intense than the last one. What was the last one? Last one we saw a bit of black liquid on his nails.
Yeah, but so he had it under the nails. He did have another hallucination where it was kind of dripping down the cubicle walls.
Yeah.
But this one it's like massive droplets from the ceiling or something. And he is he's trying to deal with that, whatever. And you have Mark then telling Irv, Irv is like, I cannot deal with this, so I'm going to go see Bert, my lover, which, fair enough, makes sense. So then Mark is telling Irv to make, I wonder, maybe if this is adding up to his slight memorization. He asks Irv to make a copy of the map he uses to get to O&D.
Yeah.
Because he wants to go to O&D himself. On the way to, I think this happens on the way before he goes to Bert or whatever, Irv is going to photocopy something and he sees a print job
that's just printed.
That's just printed, and it's like multiple prints of what's essentially a painting.
It's a painting of almost like a biblical scene.
A biblical scene of like people fighting each other, eating each other,
war.
Stabbing each other, like all it's out like war, hell. Right? Yeah, it looks like hell. Did you notice one of them looks like Bert?
I think I might have noticed that the very first time. I didn't look at it too much because I was more intrigued by the lanyards.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know if they were mobile phones or they were lanyards.
Yeah, I thought they were mobile phones first initially, and then when we get to the end of this episode, I was like, okay.
So maybe that's just us being us.
Yeah.
Thinking they're phones. Maybe they are. They're probably most likely lanyards.
No, they're definitely lanyards.
But there was a lot more detail in like why he put so much detail into the lanyards.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
It is very interesting. So Irv's obviously freaked the fuck out because he's also has this knowledge that like Bert also lied about how many people are in their department, like what's going on. Yeah. So then Milchick comes over and is like, oh my God, so sorry, you weren't supposed to see that. It was just me and Miss Cobell having a laugh, hanging around.
As
office banter, woo! Like just a big joke. But it actually turns out Milchick has done it on purpose.
Of course.
To scare him.
To not go over to
about O&D. Because Dylan is steadfast in this belief that O&D staged this coup previously, and that's why he doesn't want to hang out with them at all because they're murderous and dangerous.
And that's why they're only a 2-person department.
And that's why they're only a 2-person department. Cobell is praising Milchick's initiative for doing it because he didn't ask for permission to send the pictures or whatever. And then Milchick is also questioning why she sent Miss Casey down to the office. Like, he doesn't really get that.
Why is she doing that? Why is she doing that above? Like, why is she doing that without telling Milchick? And why is Milchick, like...
Why does Milchick care?
No, not why does he care. Why is he questioning it? The girl tried to kill herself. Why would they not?
I think that's because he's questioning her as a leader now. You know what I mean?
Do you think?
Yeah. I think he would actually be way... If he was whatever fucking job title we decided Miss Cobell has... If he was running that, I feel like he would be running it like the military. Because he has that sinister, like, more harder side to him that I think he's like, if I were running this place, we'd be getting the work done and none of this shit would be happening. Whereas, like, she's kind of like I'd say in his head, he'd probably be letting Helly go. I'd say he kind of can't understand. As you said, I'd say he's like, why are we indulging the Miss Casey thing here? Like, I just think he'd be running it harder maybe in some ways. Maybe you're seeing where they would have been like, a team previously, I'd say he's getting frustrated watching her kind of continuously fuck this up.
I wonder, is there room for progression on that floor? Is it possible? Like, I know there's room for Mark.
That he would take over Miss Cobell or something, or like be maybe.
Because then they need a new Milchick, wouldn't they?
I think they're all out for themselves more than I think we realise. Maybe with the exception of Grainer, because I just don't get ambitious vibes off him. I think he's happy enough doing his.
That's why I think he's quite high up.
Yeah. But like somehow not higher up than Cobell?
No, not higher up than Cobell.
Or like higher up than Cobell and just working together because they've shagged before.
The only reason I think that he's higher up is because people are scared of him. Mark's not as scared as Cobell as he is of Grainer.
Yeah, that's true. So we see Helly is washing her neck.
She's trying to wash her neck, and then doesn't she come out and Mark says to her that we should go on it. He says, I need to show you the... Doesn't he spill? He spills. She comes out of the bathroom.
Because Miss Casey is like, well, can you describe the bathroom, your trip to the bathroom, like in detail? Again, kind of showing, like none of the others would ask her that. Because again, it's just like, they do have social skills as much as they're like kind of fake people or whatever.
She doesn't.
So then Mark knocks coffee on her notebook to distract her, and I thought this was interesting. Dylan accuses him of being drunk and asks what his mouth tastes like today.
This morning, when he came in.
So Mark S is just coming in being like, just like whiskey mouth on him from Mark Scout, like.
But he's not drunk.
But he can still, that's what I'm saying. Like, the veil between the two lives is actually much thinner.
Yes.
Than especially if it's the others, or like maybe it was like, Mark has come in been like, God, what is my outside fella doing today? Or what was my outside fella doing? Because like my mouth tastes fucking weird. Mm-hmm. And Dylan's like, what does it taste like today? I thought that was interesting.
How each person who's severed can punish themselves, can punish the other.
Yeah.
So like, isn't that weird? Where like you could spend all day, picking at a scab and then go into your outing and be like, oh, I'm in a lot of pain here. Yeah. Because that twat downstairs, who's me, picked at the scab. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then you could come in and be like, right, well, I'm not brushing my teeth this morning. Yeah. So when you get into work, your breath stinks. Yeah. I think it's really, it's interesting how you could be nice to yourself and be mean to yourself.
Yeah. So because her notebook is wrecked, Miss Casey has to go get a new notebook. And on her travels, she sees Bert just kind of wandering around one of the conference rooms.
He's kind of panicking, Bert.
Nearby. Yeah. What was he saying in there? I can't really remember.
I can't remember what he was saying, but was he practicing? Or was he practicing to talk to Irv, maybe?
Yeah, but in a nice way, though, is what you're
saying. Right? I mean in terms of when you're about to go on a date.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you? No.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, I'll go with that one. That kind of vibe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that as opposed to like.
No, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything sinister going on.
Okay. So then Mark invites Helly for a stroll for pen caps, but like really he wants to talk to her, and that's when he says he's trying to recreate Petey's map from memory, and he wants her help to recreate it on lunch break. Says they can do it together, and you think, oh my God, she'll definitely be on board with this because that'll help her escape. What she actually says is, "I'm not your new Petey," which is damning, and she ends up walking off. But they're in the depths of this maze of a hallway, right?
Why did she walk off? Why did she not? This is exactly what she's wanted since day dot. And Mark is finally not
giving in to her.
He's finally been like, John, let's actually get some fucking answers. Yeah. Let's find out what's going on. Why is she like, no, how dare you? I want no part of this. Is she giving in? Is she just becoming?
No, I don't think so. I'm wondering, is she like? Is she seeing it as if to be like, she's looking at Mark thinking that he's going to use this as like a bonding exercise for the two of them. Interesting, yeah. Does she think maybe he has ulterior motives? Because there is like, again, a sexual chemistry, like this kind of romantic chemistry between them.
There is something.
And I think she's cognizant of that, but maybe not wanting to indulge it because she desperately wants to get out of here, and she probably views him as not a real person. She doesn't see herself as a real person, which she does, but she's like, it's all so confusing, whatever. So maybe she doesn't want to entertain that. Yeah. But also, I'm wondering, is she just finding it hard? Does she just not buy it yet, especially because of how dedicated to Lumen he is and how dedicated to the work he is? I think it's more that. I think it's just that she doesn't fully trust him and can't buy it yet. Okay. I think. I'm not sure.
So she walks off anyway.
She walks off, and as I said, they're in this like maze of hallways, whatever. And we go back to Bert, who's in the conference room. Miss Casey's gone back and said that to Irv. So Irv and Dylan go to meet Bert in the conference room, and Dylan freaks out and locks Bert.
That's the first kind of personality we see from Miss Casey.
Yes.
Is that she was trying to help Irv there by saying, by the way, Bert's in that room. Why was that? Did Irv do something nice for Miss Casey, like literally a minute before that? Did he say hello to her or something? Did he say something nice to her?
Maybe.
And I can't remember, but I do remember thinking, oh, that was nice of her. She's returning the favor by saying, by the way, Irv is in the boardroom.
I have a theory on that, but I can't say
she
it
just
quite
loves
yet.
love.
Maybe she does just love. Maybe she does just love.
Okay, keep your theory.
Bert has been in the conference room because he wanted to go see Irv, because he hasn't heard from Irv since they had their kind of awkward conversation. But also Irv, I think, has been avoiding him because he's realized, he hasn't really been. Well, I think he wasn't going to until he saw the painting, and then he was just a bit like, what the fuck? So he's been kind of feeling a bit weird about that. In the midst of this, Mark is chasing Helly around the place. The lighting in this is so good because they're going up down a couple of different hallways, and the light is like changing every beat. So it's like every kind of
every place they walk, every step.
square, it's like the light is on in front of them, then the light turns off, or it's a light behind them. And
It's like Snake. It's like the video game Snake.
Yes.
It's like it just keekeeps moving with them.
Or so then Irv and Bert are kind of talking, and Irv is saying again, like he doesn't feel scared or embarrassed about their relationship or whatever's going on. Bert, and then it's like, why are we in the conference room? And Bert says he was working on a song for him. And then again, it's very cute, but again, Irv is apprehensive, and he's like, why did you lie about the department? Like, I saw there are more of you. There's not just two of you. And he says he lied about their department because they don't trust MDR.
Yeah.
Like, they don't trust macro data refinement. He says there's a theory down in optics and design that MDR have pouches that have larvae offspring that jump out and it can attack them.
So that's what O&D think about MDR.
Yes.
And MDR, well, Dylan basically thinks kind of the same about
that they're violent savages.
They're violent savages. And this is obviously done on purpose so that the departments don't mix.
Yeah.
This is done as, like, they're scary.
Yeah.
Weird. Why?
Haley and Mark hear this noise as they're wandering around the place, so they decide to follow the noise, and it ends up being a goat.
What did you think it was? I thought it was
thought it was a lamb.
Oh, really? I thought it was
what did I think the noise was?
I thought the noise was a baby.
I also thought it was a baby, sorry. But then when I saw the animal, I goes, oh, that's a lamb. And then when I was Googling everything, everyone was like, it's a goat. I was like, I'm a moron. Okay, I can't identify animals.
Yeah.
I can't identify basic farmyard animals. That's good.
You've lived in Dublin too long for
Yeah, truly. Bring me back to the animals. There are loads of lambs in this room, right? Not lambs. There are loads of goats. Maybe there's a room of lambs as well. Who knows? There's a man there and he's feeding the goats and he says they're not ready and that they can't take them. And he's getting like progressively kind of more agitated. It's just him in the room, no one else, loads of goats.
He looks distressed.
So distressed.
The man does. And he's in a suit.
Yeah.
Feeding the goat with a baby bottle.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those things where you're like, I was watching this with my girlfriend who hasn't watched the show, and she was just like doing work on her laptop, and she kind of looked up and she's like, what the fuck is this show? And I was like, honestly, I can't describe it to you.
It's getting freaky around here. But it's hard because it's like, we still don't have season 2, so I can't even explain. Like, we have no
answers for you.
We have no answers. What do you think it is? Do you have any theories? Is there any symbolism there that we're not picking up on?
I don't think there's any. There's no symbolism that I'm picking up on for sure. But could these be the people that we were told by Petey are always down there? They don't get to leave. Could this be the department? This is.
But why is he? What's with the lambs and why are people taking them to do what? Again, this is a company that you're led to believe is like on the frontier of medical and technological advancements. What do you need with goats?
Testing.
Oh, that's so sad. Maybe
for maybe severance. I would say that it's probably that they're not ready yet. They're not old enough. Maybe. Anyway,
he tells them to go, so they do. So then we're back with Dylan, Bert and Irv, and they've decided to let him out of the conference room, but Bert's hands are still tied, and he's walking behind them as the two others are like walking ahead, and they're like two little schoolboys, like like flirting with each other or whatever. And then Dylan kind of cops that obviously that they're flirting with each other, and there's more of a romantic thing than a friendship thing, and he like massively disapproves. They go to O&D all together, don't they? And that's when Bert shows them like more paintings.
Yeah.
And Dylan ends up finding
a version of the painting that they say didn't exist.
Wait, sorry, before this, I have to interrupt. The painting that Bert is showing is a painting of like two fucking, I don't know, Lumen or Egan fucking ancestors who were like colleagues who worked together who ended up falling in love. Really? And he's like showing, and he's explaining this to Irv, and they're like talking about the fact that, again, that it's like kind of discouraged, but like, you know,
they
started off as colleagues and they ended up as lovers, whatever. And then, as you said, Dylan finds this painting that is.
He goes for a little route around.
Yeah, he's nosy Parker Dylan finds this painting that looks really similar to the one that Irv saw at the photocopier, but it's not the same painting. How is it different?
He thinks it is initially. Yeah. But in the original painting that came out of the photocopier that Irv saw, in that, O&D, who is Bert's department, are killing MDR, which is Irv's department. Mm. In this new painting that Dylan finds, he thinks it's the exact same painting. It's not. It's the opposite. It's O&D being killed by MDR. Yeah. That's why they have these, you know, thoughts that there are some of the people in the department have these thoughts that the opposite department is after the other, going to kill them. Yeah. They're evil. They're actually not even evil. They're monsters. Yeah. They have larvae and they have this, that, and the other. Yeah. Which I did enjoy Irv's little joke.
It was so good when they're like, oh, having digs at each other. It's so cute.
It's so cute.
Irv notices straight away though because of the lanyards. Irv's like, this isn't the same painting, but they're like our lanyards. Yeah. They're like the MDR lanyards, which I thought was interesting. Miss Casey ends up finding Helly and Mark. They apologise. They say they're not hurt. Miss Casey forgives them. That's all good. They're all like happy, other than the fact that they're like, what the fuck is going on with those goats? They're being watched the whole time, obviously. Cobell is watching them. And Grainer at this point actually criticises Cobell for letting them run amok. And then they have another interaction where I think, again, he's kind of half giving out to her. But did you hear? This is another reason why I think they're fucking dicking each other down. Okay. Cobell goes, yes, Daddy, to Grainer.
I did see that. That was weird. I thought that was a little bit of a fuck you to Grainer, though, as opposed to a flirty, kinky thing.
Maybe I need to give up on the relationship theory.
But no, I honestly think you're onto something. I do think you're onto something. I have a question, though. The Lumen as a business is very, you have to ask permission for absolutely everything. Okay, why don't they just tell them they're not allowed to mix departments?
But why aren't they allowed to mix departments?
But they don't know anything else. Why would they give them the answer to that? They don't even know what they're doing for work.
Yeah.
And whenever they ask, it's like, don't ask the questions.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to mix departments. Why? Don't ask questions. Okay. Why are you coming up with this lore that departments have killed other departments?
Maybe it's because they only know fear. They only know how to motivate through fear. And there's a worry that, like, if they give them,
and mystery,
give an inch, take a mile. Yeah. You know, if you start pulling out a thread of curiosity, like, what happens?
But I think they're probably right, because they are taking a mile. They haven't done any work in 4 years. Literally. And they're just, Irv is just swanning down the hallway to see his best mate Bert to hang out for the day. They're not doing any work.
Yeah. Demented. They all come back together, and that's when they're introduced to the full O&D department. And you can tell Bert introduces them because Bert is the mark of O&D. Yes. In the sense that he's the head of the department. And there's a little bit of apprehension. Episode ends.
But before it ends, they say a couple of things. So one, they are currently making water cans down there in O&D.
Okay.
Back to your kind of theory that they make merch in O&D. So they're making watering cans, and one of the people has watering cans, and they say, is that a watering can? Yeah, we think one of the uppers wants it, and that's what they're making. Did you not see this? No. And then they said last week they had us make hatchets. I
did hear this, but I thought, I'm going to be honest, maybe I was not fully paying attention at this point. I thought the hatchets was, again, a reference to, I thought it was something that they were saying, something that they'd heard about MDR, and that's why they were like a bit...
No, I think they had to make them last week, because
What do you need hatchets and watering cans for?
I have no idea. I've literally, I was thinking maybe, like, if you're looking at it from a very corporate way, maybe a hatchet is like a fire, like if there's a fire to hit down a door, because they do have hatchets.
That's a generous read.
There is, but also watering cans, corporate world, have them up to water plants and things like that. That's what they do. They make stuff down there for the uppers. That's what they say they do. It's what is it? Optics and design.
So they're making. So it's the merch.
They make merch, but they also make the desks. I'd imagine they also make the chairs.
So they're making stuff for the severed and the non-severed floors.
Yeah, the whole building, the whole building. In my eyes, that's what O&D is doing.
I think so.
But they don't obviously know that themselves.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the episode ends on Dylan looking at these instruction manuals that he doesn't really understand, and he steals them. And he puts them in.
Yes. They didn't look like instruction manuals to me, though. They looked like nearly fucking karate cards.
I thought the same.
They were like, it seemed like they were...
It was like turn left, right.
It was like, those like leaflets that show you how to escape from a fire, where it's like, obviously, like fucking stop, drop and roll. It was giving that, but it seemed
like
to be
the back of a Ryanair seat.
Yeah, major. But it was like someone kicking someone or something.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on. I must go back and look at them cards.
Yeah. That was episode 5. Another banger directed by Aoife McCarthy.
Was that directed by Aoife?
I'm going to find that woman on social media and hassle her. No, I'm not. I'm only joking. I'm not going to hassle you, but please come on. Okay, that was episode 5, which brings us nicely to...
Great episode.
Episode 6, Hide and Seek.
Hide and Seek.
Also directed by Aoife McCardle. Slay. We open with Cobell, she's at home. She's wearing a necklace. I couldn't really figure out what was on the necklace. Is it a chip? It looked like a chip.
God, I see. Sometimes you say things, and I'm like, God, how did she recognize that? That's impressive.
But see, it went past me, and I was like, is that of more significance? Is this a candle situation?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, is it like her first ever chip? And now she's not. Was she ever severed at any point? Like, we've both decided, okay, she's not severed. Was she ever severed at any point? And it's like her memory.
You've completely busted it wide open. I think.
Don't know.
I think you have. If she's wearing a chip, that's the same kind of vibe one that they took out of Petey. Is it?
Maybe it's not a chip. Hang on, I'm gonna Google. Fuck it, I'm gonna maybe ruin it for myself. Cobell necklace Severance.
Is this like the first thing we see?
Puts on a necklace that appears to be a Severance chip. If so, whose chip is it? Okay, so I'm not the only person that thinks that. I'm actually not going to read too
Maybe
much more
it's
into it.
Petey's.
Yeah, some people think it's Petey's in that thread. Why would you be... Well, I suppose for safekeeping.
For safekeeping. But I like the thought. I like the thought of her being severed before. Her being the Helly, the Mark, the Dylan, the Irv. Her being one of them.
It would make sense as to how she's able to do the two personalities, because she's such a freak in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She is, isn't she?
And she's so like stone cold and work.
She's boss. She's an absolute boss.
Grainer rings her to say it was Regabi who signed off on Petey's chip. We don't know who Regabi is. But like, if he's saying that, then does that mean that it's not Petey's chip and it's still in the lab? You know? Or if they... I don't know. Anyway, we don't know who Regabi is. But she seems to work with Lumen, obviously. And it's like, okay, she's this person, who we're assuming is a woman, has cracked reintegration. Where the fuck is this person? We need to track them down, because this is dangerous. Like, we are screwed if this gets out and this goes in further than this.
Is this after she's like praying to Keir?
No, this is next. The Egan shrine is next. Then she's at home again, looking very like matronly, like preparing for bed. She's little like pigtails or a little plait or something. She's looking very like
Amish almost.
Yeah, old woman. But in comparison to how she looks and dresses and work, it's like two completely, again, separate entities. And she's praying at this shrine to Egan. There's lots of references to Myrtle Egan, who was the first female CEO. It seems like she went to the school that was like teaching women to be like Myrtle. I don't know. Yeah. What do you reckon that's about? Do you reckon she's really devout? Is that it? Like, cannot see the wood from the trees? Or again, does this speak to her ulterior motivations that she wants to rise up the ranks?
I think a bit of both.
Okay.
I think it's I think she could have been born into it. As we know that the Keir family have been around for generations and generations. So I think she's been born into it, put into that kind of a school where it's all about Keir, it's all about his teachings. It's a cult. As I said in a couple of episodes ago, or like when we were talking about it a couple of episodes ago. Yeah, I think the whole thing is a cult. It could be that they've carved out as part of a country, and it's just this is Keirville, okay, and everything here is Keir. It's like our God, I think. Yeah, it's like our Jesus.
I'm on she's some kind of relative train, and that's why she's like, I think she's desperate to prove herself in work. Yeah, I think so. I think she's some kind of... I think there must be lots of relatives at this point, and like I think she's not like close in the bloodline, but has some kind of blood, and that's why she's like trying to do it on her own, prove herself to be able to eventually rise up the ranks. I don't know if that's...
But I think she could still want to rise up the ranks and still be devout. I don't think you probably get to where she is without being devout.
Yeah.
I think she's very clever.
Yeah. Mark, also, the phone is still ringing. The phone is still ring-a-ding-dinging. And he's like, right, I can't do this anymore.
I'm afraid to double text. And this phone call has been ringing for probably about 7 days.
Yeah, Mark's like, I can't deal with the phone anymore. So I thought he just threw the SIM out, but it seems like he threw the whole ass phone out, did he?
Yeah, into a bin.
Into a bin.
He took it apart.
Yeah.
And then threw it into a bin.
Which again, I am just kind of like, kind of an old-fashioned phone for how new tech everything is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like super... Now again...
We don't know when this is set.
Yeah, I was just about to say, also, fun... Is this a fun fact? It's certainly a fact anyway.
If it's fun.
If it's an Apple TV Plus show or movie or like whatever, the villain can't be seen to have an iPhone.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but no one has had an iPhone since.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
Yeah. Which again also makes me question when the fuck this was set.
That's why I think it's more culty. I think they make their own tech.
But like, I'm trying to think about Mark's TV. Like, the TV doesn't seem that old.
And it also shows different views. Because they have debates on the news.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Why
Very
would they be
interesting.
allowed TV? Yeah, I don't know. My whole theory of like, it's a cult because they have their own tech and their own newspaper and their own, you know, websites that
towns and like housing and stuff.
Websites that give news and things like that. And you know, now goats. That they do farms as well.
Kier branded goats. Oh my god. We're back with Devon. Devon's had her baby, as we mentioned. She's called Eleanor. They're happy out. She's walking around with the babs, and she meets the other woman she saw at the birthing retreat, and she waves at her. Girl is like, who the fuck are you? Like, is very kind of like not responsive.
Yeah, and you'd remember someone who came into your birth, like when you were about to give birth, who asked for coffee.
Yeah.
Was like, are you rich?
And like they told, again, like, because Devon was being weird, and like they told each other baby names and stuff like that. So like Devon doesn't want to let it go, so she goes down to her and is like, how are you getting on? Whatever. It's me from the birthing retreat. And she's like, barely cordial. Like, she's a bit like very apprehensive, does say hi, whatever. And Devon's like, oh, this must be William. Because obviously that's what she'd been told the baby was going to be called.
By her. By the man.
And then your one is like, oh no, it's Bradley, actually. And that's when this man comes up as well. His name is Angelo Arteta, excuse me. And he is like, he's not like, who are you? But again, Devon introduced herself.
He's a lot friendlier than the wife.
Yeah, more forthcoming. And that's when she's like, oh yeah, we met at the birthing cabins, whatever. And your one kind of starts to go along with it. Again, kind of seems like out of politeness, but she's like, oh yeah, whatever, blah, blah. And they're there with their other two older kids as well. They're all like playing at the playground. And that's when Angelo is like, we should go.
Yeah.
So then they leave, and Devon's like, bye, and bye, Bradley, whatever. And then when they leave, she's kind of like, that was a bit fucking weird. That was weird.
Same vibes, Gabriella, as Miss Casey? Almost?
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? That robotic, barely personal.
Not reading social cues.
Yeah, barely personable.
Yeah.
And just almost numb.
Yeah. Okay, let's come back to that at the end. Irv wants to unite the departments. We're back in the office. He wants to unite the departments because he reckons he is now suspicious somehow. Because, and I think it's because I think the paintings were kind of the catalyst for him. And that's huge for someone who is so dedicated to Luna and so dedicated to his job. Even he can see that, like, it's not adding up. But I don't know then if he's also a bit blinded by love. Yeah. You know what I mean? If that's also maybe a little bit of the motivation. I
kind of wrote that down. I said, the whole team want to get answers. Irv just wants to see Bert. Mark and Helly are flirting again.
Oh. Yes. Yeah, hugely. Helly still wants to map the floor. But, which again, I think is interesting because it's like, you're mad to do this, but Mark did give you the opportunity and you said no.
Yeah.
Because of your own stubbornness? I don't really get it.
I think she was probably pissed off at Mark. I've come to the realisation that she was probably pissed off at Mark for not supporting her when she wanted to do this before.
Yeah.
Like, she's probably like, I had to basically try and kill myself in order for you to actually do something.
Yeah. And I think maybe the goat thing also solidified for her where she's like, this is weird. We have to do something. Irv doesn't approve. Irv is like, oh, I'm all for uniting, but like, I'm not mapping the floor. Like, that's not allowed. So then she suggests another mental health walk. And they're kind of flirting. She's being a bit cheeky. He's taking the piss out of her. It's all a bit like cutesy, but he is also as well like, he was like, we need to work. Like, we need to get shit done as well. And then we learn also that Miss Casey is part-time. So she's not full-time severed. Yeah. Because I think there's something, does Mark go to Cobell's office and that's when Cobell says this to Mark?
That was the very first time I heard the phrase part-time innie. Yeah. That's the first time we've heard that phrase entirely. And this is the part where we really see Mark fighting back. Yeah,
because Miss Casey has been sent to the break room because she let the two of them go off and it was on her watch. The buck stops at her.
If there's any fucking character who doesn't need to go to the break room.
No, literally.
That poor woman.
Yeah, and again, that goes back to Cobell's like justification, or Cobell is like, just because she's part-time doesn't mean like she she should still be punished when she fucks up, essentially. But that's also why she kind of acts a bit weird. And as you said, this is the first time we're hearing about part-time innies.
I feel like Miss Casey has been in the break room like 100 times, and that's why she is the way she is. Like,
oh, that makes me really sad.
I know, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's meant to break you.
Yeah.
And Helly came out of that break room broken. And she was very like, okay, I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't want to talk to anyone. That's Miss Casey.
Yeah.
Miss Casey is I think she's broken.
Yeah. Mark suggested it should be him in the break room, not Miss Casey. And he's really struggling and he's getting really cross. And at one point he asks Cobell straight out, he's like, what do we do? What is the work we're doing? Like, I don't understand. And she snaps. Like, this is the first time we've ever seen. I saw a really funny serialized review that was like, Patricia Arquette essentially serving cunt, and at any point she's only ever using 3 muscles in her face. But at this point she is using, there's full animation, she is snapping. She says they serve Keir, and then she has an insult where she says Mark's brain is mildewed. She says, when are you going to get that through your, I'm paraphrasing her, but she's like, when are you going to get that through your mildewed brain? Incredible. Mildewed brain.
What's mildewed?
Like mold.
Oh, right.
Like damp, yeah. How do you not know what mildew is? You're making me feel 800 years old. What's mildew, Granny? Fuck off. So then she's like, right, fuck this. I'm revoking hallway privileges. You're not allowed out in the hallways. I'm sicky, right? Yeah. Which again, I'm kind of like, I feel like we've just done that like
the first place.
Like literally 2 weeks ago, we would not be here. But anyway.
Why are they out in the hallway? Just do your work.
Yeah, honestly. They're back in the office. Dylan says, when Dylan learns about Miss Casey in the break room, he's like devastated because he chose this shirt for Miss Casey, and Helly again is taking the piss out of him. Helly's like, when you chose that shirt in the morning, like you didn't know why you were choosing it. Like this is so demented.
That's a great point, yeah.
Then he ends up querying Helly on her feelings for Mark because he's kind of like, he's putting two together, he's seeing them together. It's all, and she's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, whatever, and is kind of like essentially denying it. There's also a thing where, I think Irv wants to go to visit Bert. And this is when I think actually Mark snaps and is like, I'm edited, but we have to work. And I think I don't think it's that he feels committed to the work and wanting to do it. I think he's realising that people are getting hurt and people are being punished because of his curiosity. And I feel like that's why he's trying to like stop it now. And that's why he's also trying to hold back Irv from visiting Bert. Yeah. Because he's like, something bad is going to happen to you if I allow this and if I don't kind of knuckle down.
But then he decides, fuck it, let's all go.
Yeah, which is kind of demented. But anyway. But also you've Irv apologising, saying he set a bad example as he's there the longest. He says he's the most senior data refiner or whatever. Which again, I'm like, how long are you there?
But also, why wouldn't he get the job? Why wouldn't he get PD's own job?
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So then they go to O&D again and they're kind of asking each other questions and getting to know each other more. And O&D suggests they work together on finding out how big the place is and like essentially what's going on. I wrote down why there are ghosts, but I meant to say why there are ghosts. So that's why I was confused there. I was like, I can't even read what I'm writing. And Mark is again kind of leading this revolution. He's like, we shouldn't be in the dark. We should know what's going on. And Bird is suggesting, cool, me and you, we're department heads. We'll work together. We'll figure it out. I think this is when Dylan finds the cards. I don't think Dylan finds the cards in the last episode.
I'm actually just after checking my notes there, and that's what I have down here because it's Dylan steals stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan steals those
This is where we see about the watering cans. This is where we see about the hatchets and things like that.
Yeah.
So is this their first or second visit?
I think it's their second visit.
As a whole?
As a whole, I think. Because did Helly go the last time?
I don't think she did.
I can't really remember. I think there was like an intro meeting and then they were obviously like called back or whatever, the day ended, and then they decided to go again. And that's when Dylan found the cards, which... as you said, they're like Ryanair, the back of the seat kind of cartoon showing actions. I thought it looked like violence. I thought it looked like fighting, like karate moves or something. But we're not 100% sure. I literally have written down Dylan finds karate cards, ? And then when it's a Milchek goes to O&D and sees them there and is like, get the fuck back to the office and do some work.
That was scary now.
Yeah, he is so good.
He is amazing.
He's brilliant.
I don't know what it is about his demeanour, but it's just so cold really and so terrifying.
So then they go back to the office. Miss Cobell is there. Miss Cobell says, give me a beat. and decides to sing. She's singing the fucking Keir. We love Keir, 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 etc. I don't know. And then she is like, Mark.
They get in trouble. Cobell sings for some reason.
Yeah, Mark. She's like, Mark, to the break room, seeing as you're so fucking desperate to go, you have food, basically, right? And he meets Miss Casey in the hallway of the break room.
He's coming back from the break.
Yeah, she's leaving the break room. He's going in. The hallway is so narrow. Yeah. So they're like essentially brushing off each other. And he says to her, he's like, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. He goes into the break room and we don't see what happens to him. But we're then brought to Mark in real life. And his hand is like so bruised and battered. And he's actually on a date with love of our lives, Alexa.
Oh, we love Alexa.
She's back. They're on a second date, and she's like, "What happened to your hand?" And he says, "Work says he jammed it in a water cooler because those jugs are like very heavy." We're like, "Okay, what the fuck actually happened?"
I wonder, is there a department that just comes up with excuses for what happens to workers?
There must be. That would be so much fun. I think I would like that job. That's just essentially creative writing. Like. Yeah. I wonder if there's a Lumen podcast.
Oh my God.
There must be, like.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I will check.
Like, but I mean, like, even in the show, like, is there, you know, like companies start those podcasts and it's like, why would I if unless you're a media company, it's like, why would I give a fuck about this? Anyway, that's an idea. Adam Scott, Ben Stiller, if you're listening.
Oh, I'd listen to it so badly.
I would too. I'm very intrigued. Anyway, I literally have written down he's on the date and he's more relaxed. Woo. And they're talking about, because it just seems like, I don't know, like I like seeing him being a bit more fucking. No. It did. Wait, sorry, what did you say?
Why is he like that? I'm not saying like why are you happy. Why is he more chill? What's changed?
Well, I think maybe he just I think maybe he knows what went wrong in the first date. I think he was like, I was too drunk. And that's why I started going on at the whole night collective.
Even in the first date, he wasn't that receptive to anything she was saying. Even when he was sober, he was like,
is he just lonely? Does he just want to?
Do you think? I don't think he's capable of just turning that on.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I suppose we haven't seen like.
See, I'm just trying to think from his point of view, what's changed in his world. Obviously, lots has changed down there. He wants to get answers and stuff down in as his innie, but as his outie, what's actually changed?
Is it a distraction? Is it to stop him thinking about PD and everything else that's going on?
Maybe.
That's a combination of everything, you know.
Yeah, because it seems like a kind of a bad time to be going on a date.
Yeah. She is obviously still working as Devon's midwife, so they're talking about Devon is having issues latching the baby. Again, another great one for you for the girly quiz, breastfeeding.
Oh, I know all about latching.
We know all about latching, but Devon's having a bit of latching difficulties. They're talking about it, and Alexa posits to him, did you ever think about having kids with Gemma, right? And seems a little bit awkward, but he says, yeah, we tried for a little while. They were going, and then it was like they were going to adopt. And he basically says then at some point you're like, oh, is this just a life we've been given? Should we be happy with it? And then obviously that you're putting two and together that obviously she died at some point fully after these conversations or during these conversations or whatever. And he kind of keeps going on to talk about her. And then he goes to Alexa. He's like, this is really weird that I'm talking about her, right? And she's like, no, like it's healthy, whatever.
We love her.
We love Gemma. We love Gemma. We love Alexa. And he basically says, he's like, I don't know, like, I just reckon she'd be so pissed off that she's dead and she'd be so pissed off at him for kind of, like, I don't think he uses the word wasting his life, but his theory is that she's looking down on him from wherever she is, or looking up. I don't know where anyone ends up. Girls, Gemma could have been a cunt. And she's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you... And I don't know... And I actually don't know whether he means, like, in terms of dating, in terms of the Severance thing, in terms of, like, life. Yeah. Because as we see, like, on his weekends and his evenings, like, he doesn't have any hobbies. He's not really doing anything bar drinking. He's not meeting anyone else.
He just loves a drink. He
loves a drink and he loves his sister, which...
I honestly thank God for the sister.
Yeah.
Like, because... I feel like he has nothing else.
Yeah.
And at least she drags him into the real world, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Love Devon.
Then we see, speaking of Devon, we go back to Devon and she's actually Googling. She's doing a few little Googles and she's Googled Gabriella Arteta, right? Arteta or Artera? It doesn't matter, girls. These aren't real people.
Did you see what came up?
Yeah, so she's good. So she's a private social media account, which to me looks like a Facebook account, but whatever. Again, maybe Facebook doesn't exist in Severance world. And as it turns out, she's married to Angelo, who we met earlier.
Yeah.
He is the former mayor of a place called Wilston, apparently this tiny place, but he is now in the Senate, and he is a huge advocate for Severance.
Yes.
Highly promotes it, is very, very into it. I didn't really have a huge look at like where the newspaper cuttings were coming from. Did you see?
I did.
You noted them, I'd say.
All the websites that she was looking up these people are queerlife.com. So this is kind of a throwback to earlier on when I was saying the website that what was the
Queer Chronicle.
Queer Chronicle was the notification for that Petey had died.
Yes, yeah.
Whether this is the website they were looking up was not Queer Chronicle.
Queerlife.com. That's interesting.
There's multiple.
Yeah, I looked at the article that talked about like because there's a couple about like his political standing and who he is. But there was an interview that Gabriella did with one of these where she's talking about getting their house renovated. And the article life has been further upended by what Gabriella calls a frequently traumatic renovation of their kitchen. Quote, "It's hard on the kids and it's hard on me. There's something so viscerally upsetting about having your home literally ripped apart." Which I just thought was funny. The frequently traumatic renovation, I was like, girl, it's just giving very people.com. You know what I mean? It's giving like celebrity lifestyle, political wife. It has respectfully kind of nothing to say. So is saying this.
Yes. Now, I feel like we didn't really touch on. Do you remember we met Gabriella again after she had the kid? We thought she wanted to call it William. Turned out to call it Bradley.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the fact that she didn't really recognise Devon? Is she severed?
Well, that's why I wanted to stop you when you were talking about part-time, because I'm wondering, is that a thing? Is that why she didn't have a clue? And is that why the name is totally different?
And
because you'd surely... Like, it wasn't like she was pretending like she didn't know her. It was like she did not know her.
She hadn't a clue. But it was just as she was about to give birth. So I was kind of thinking, is this like a new procedure where you can be severed for when you don't want to experience something?
Yeah.
So, say for example, I don't want to experience giving birth. That sounds painful as shit.
Okay.
I'm going to sever myself, so I'm a different person, and I'll never remember the pain, therefore I can have more children.
Maybe. But then is that part-time in the same way as Miss Casey, or is it like even more? Well, if it was part-time, then you'd be doing it however many days a week. But like, is this just for, can you get it for, as you said, for a specific event? Like,
I think
the dentist or something?
I think you can get it for a specific event. I think that's what maybe Lumen is working on.
Okay. Somehow. To try and to see how.
So you can switch off. You can fast forward your life. You can, you don't have to deal. Maybe that's what they're doing. You don't have to deal with having a cold.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with having to go to a boring work job.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with, being really sad. Just get severed and then you're out. You're
really selling it. Do you know what I mean? We love a bit of disassociation, girls.
I'm kind of at the same time, I'm like, is this thing, should it kind of...
Anyway, she's researching all this, and then sure, there's someone at the door, and we have to go down and see what's going on. Now, when I say I completely forgot this element of it. So they're obviously interviewing people. As I said, she's having issues with latching, so they've gone looking for like a lactation consultant, whatever. So as someone has arrived at the door who seems to be like they're interviewing people or whatever, but this seems
to be the nanny or something.
Yeah, or like kind of like a nanny, whatever kind of vibe. Who comes into the fucking house?
Mrs. Selvig.
Terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. / Miss Cobell. Yeah, but I think we're okay with this. We learn we're okay with this. We learn we're okay with this because Mark has suggested.
Yeah, Mark had mentioned it in passing, and then turned myself like, is she qualified to do this? Question mark.
We don't know until she takes the baby.
But even then, is it just like, are you just good with babies? Basically, she's kind of giving all this advice, and she gives her like nipple cream, whatever, and she's like, and that's when Rickon's like, we're interviewing a couple of people, so like, just this job isn't like necessarily technically yours, meeting, whatever. He's not as blunt as that, but like, that's kind of what he's inferring. And then Eleanor's kind of unsettled, so she takes Eleanor and essentially immediately settles her.
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh my God, is this the one? You know what I noticed, or someone else pointed out about when what she was wearing.
Cobell?
Yeah.
Selvig? I don't know. Was it like an apron? She loves wearing that. The things she wears are so odd. She looks like I don't know. She looks almost Amish sometimes.
So I actually thought this was something different. I was looking at her clothes and I was wondering if there were little like I thought there might have been goats because she's wearing like it's like a cartoony like animal top. Like kind of a nurse's top. I thought there were goats on that, but I just read something else that said if you look in the house, there's a goat's head on the wall.
Interesting.
In Rickon's house. So then you're like, why does Rickon have that?
Maybe the goat is symbolism for something. I hate symbolism when I don't understand it.
I know, me too. The satisfaction when I saw that candle, I was like,
yeah, that's good.
I thought I'd done my leave insert again. It was class. So then that's all going on, and then we're brought to a different house, seemingly, and there's a child watching cartoons.
This was the most exciting scene in the world for me. This was like, when I saw this for the first time, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. So this child is watching cartoons. He's counting down, and that's when we realise that we are in Dylan's house on the outside world, because we meet Dylan in the closet. Someone's closet, his closet, the kid's closet, I don't know. Yeah. And he's in there with Mr. Milchick. And initially, we don't really see him on the outside yet, but we see him coming back to being Innie Dylan. Yeah. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? Because obviously, like, he doesn't know where he is. This has never happened to him. Like, they're never usually woken up on the outside world.
We didn't even know this was possible.
No, we had no idea this was possible. He doesn't know where he is. But basically, Milchick has basically said, like, I've woken you up at home. It doesn't say this is an emergency, but it's like, where's that card that you took? I need that card. It's really, really important. And again, Dylan's like, where the fuck am I? What the fuck is this? He's like, Dylan, like, you need to tell me. And eventually he says he hid it in like the bathroom or something. It's like the second stall or like underneath the fucking whatever. Before Milchick can change back, or he seems to be communicating with someone else.
Yeah, he's on the phone or something, isn't he?
Inside.
Again, an old phone.
Who's ever is like dealing with this or whatever. But before he can turn it off and like end whatever is going on, the child runs in because Milchick had told the child, count to this number and then you can come in, whatever, right? But obviously didn't expect the child to
count that fast.
Count that quickly or whatever. So the child runs in, hugs Innie Dylan, not realising it's Innie Dylan, just thinks it's his dad, but it's Innie Dylan.
But this is the first time that Innie Dylan is getting to experience. Yeah. He's like, I have a son.
Yeah, and I think Innie Dylan had a totally different perspective on how his life was. So obviously he's like, what the fuck? Milchick is like, end it. Dylan comes through and is real life Dylan and goes, oh, we're done here, okay? Because obviously Milchick has just come to the house being like, you've left something at work. But I don't know how he's explained it.
Yeah, but I was thinking about that as well. I was like, how does he explain it that there's something wrong?
And he seems pissed off because when they're finished, he's like...
But he's not pissed off without Dylan.
No, sorry. As in, Dylan is pissed off at Milchick for probably coming home and being like, why?
Yeah, we go to...
Because I feel like, again, if it's the thing with the kids, he's clearly sought out Severance because he wants a better work. You'd imagine it's something to do with the kids.
He's a bit pissed off at him, yeah.
Yeah,
he's a bit standoffish.
Because he picks up the child and he's like, we good here? And it's like, yeah, standoffish. I don't know if I go as far as saying pissed off, but yeah. So, that happens. We're back to Mark on the date and he ends up seeing a poster for a band and it's June's band, Petey's daughter. And she's performing. I wrote down it's like metal rocker vibes, which again, I'm not beating the elderly allegations with that, but he says to Alexa, he's like, will we go to this and like give it shit like we'll leave? Yeah. And she's like, yeah, fair enough. So they do that and he tries to film at one point. They're like, no, it's just not that vibe. It's very like anti-establishment, like underground,
like
cool.
What's he trying to film?
Whatever.
What's he filming
and
on?
Again, he's like filming it. Didn't his phone look newer than everyone else's?
I don't know. I don't remember. I've just realised that.
It was like not an iPhone, but it looked like a new enough. I'm not going to say another brand name because it didn't look like an iPhone, but it looked like your standard smartphone.
Right.
I thought anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am, let me know. So he tries to film on that. They're like, no. And the song is like has a very anti-Lumen sentiment. Yes. The lyrics are literally like, fuck you, Lumen, hate you, Lumen, took the person I love, whatever. So presumably June has written this. She's doing background vocals, she's not the main singer. And Mark starts singing along for some reason.
This is so confusing to me because, as I said, what has changed? Like, Mark has always been pro-Lumen. The last date he was on, he argued with these people who were anti-severance. And he was like, severance is actually a good thing, or, whatever. Where has this anti-lumen come from?
Especially to be doing it
What
so
has
wholeheartedly
changed?
and like looking at Alexa nearly, and like she joins in, but it's all just like what?
It is weird. I have not a theory. I just wonder, is because he's starting to question it in his innie, is he starting to also question it on his outie as well? Is it just connected in some way?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because his innie is starting to ask for more answers.
Yeah.
And so is his outie. Are they starting to connect in a way?
I wonder, or is it just that he's trying to like play along with the group? Like, do you know what I mean? He's just trying not to look like an outsider. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah. The gig ends, they're going to leave, and they end up meeting Jude. They see Jude, and Mark's like, hello. And he's like, she's like, oh, you're the fella from work. And he says, oh, Pete would have liked the song. And she's literally like, how would you know? How would you know that? And they're kind of saved by the bell. There's a fight breaks out in the alleyway. So, like, Alexa and Mark are like, right, we need to leave. He kind of half starts explaining to Alexa that he knew PD in work and that's why he went, whatever, and he feels like still really conflicted about it. She's like, don't care, lob the gob.
Yeah.
She's like, smooching time, motherfucker. So they kiss, and I literally have written down, also, we have Grainer turning up at Cobell's house after meeting. It's clearly after she's met Rickon and Devon.
So this is going back to your theory.
Yeah. And he goes, why are you dressed like a nurse? And it's, I don't know, it's just very like lip bitey or something. I don't know. And he's come here basically to say that like they found Regabi, she's at a college campus, right? So then it's kind of like, okay, deal with it. Yeah. Deal with it. And then I've literally written down, Alexa stayed over. Yes! Alexa stayed over, Mark. So
they also say, but just to go back just one scene with Grainer and Cobell when they're chatting away. Cobell says, I was just doing research. What are you doing research on? Why do you need to? Your research was being with the baby at Devon and Rickon's house. And they also say that, or Grainer also says that maintenance are in.
Yes.
Maintenance are in the offices.
So it's just as well that she's been doing that or whatever that she wasn't in. She must have not been in that day or whatever time frame that she... Anyway, why does she want to be so into Mark's life?
I don't know. That's what
Especially when it's not Mark directly. Like, I don't get it.
But it's Mark's everything.
Yeah.
It's Mark's, into his house, into his sister's house, into his niece now. The book with Rickon, everything. So, Mark wakes up. He's like, I can't sleep. For some reason, feels the need to go out to the bin and root back out the phone. Yeah. He puts the phone back together and rings the number. The number's still ringing.
No, the number is still ringing because the number is blocked. He can't ring it back. The number is still ringing, so he decides to answer. And it's a woman on the other end of the line. And he's like, I'm a friend of PD's. The woman is like, how much do you know or how much were you told? And he was like, essentially nothing. And she's like, okay, will you come meet me? Come meet me here. And he's like, okay. So he just fucks off and leaves Alexa, which, girl, that's not good date etiquette. I don't know how to explain that to him, but anyway. And we were also seeing the maintenance that's happening in Luma. They're changing the lift. What do you think they're changing?
Are they changing the lift or are they adding more doors? I think they're adding doors in between hallways. So from their department, that's
what I thought as well, but then I wasn't sure. It seemed like such a wide section of wall they were dealing with.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was just because it is quite open as a department. Like anyone could just walk in. Yeah. So I think that they're just closing it off. Okay. So it also, didn't she say she was taking away their hallway privileges? Yes. Okay. So that's what I think. Yeah. But I'm intrigued to see the next episode.
Yeah, me too. Because as we say, Mark ends up at the college campus, and it's actually where he used to teach, which I think is interesting.
Yeah,
because he's a history professor.
So I'm presuming that this person is the same person that Cobell and Grainer are talking about.
Regabi. But we don't know just yet, because we'll have to see in the next episode. Another banger from Aoife McArdle, I have to say.
Absolutely unbelievable. This woman knows Mark as well. She knows his past. Yeah. Which I find really interesting.
I'm to say now I need to find her email address and I'm emailing her immediately, but she won't reply, obviously, because she has this show to do. Yeah, maybe. Do you know what? Stranger things have happened. That's what I say. we're getting into the meat and the bones in the next 3 episodes.
Yeah.
The final 3
insane.
of season 1.
The only takeaway I've written down for this episode is, and it's a stupid one, but it's just I'm kind of going wild. I'm not that I'm going wild. I'm going mad thinking about it. Is it all a test? Is there a reason? I'm looking at like. Do you ever watch Black Mirror?
Yeah.
And there's an episode called Hang the DJ, and it's where this couple meet up and they're told, you can have 24 hours together. And then they go on another date that's 72 hours, or it's a week, or it's a year, it's whatever. But these couple really want to be together, but they're not allowed because the device says they're not allowed. And so they have to escape.
Yeah.
And they have to get over the wall. And once they get over the wall, they can be together. That's the Black Mirror episode. And the whole thing turns out to be a test. Them escaping the wall or whatever. So I'm like, is there a reason for all this? Is it a test? Is it to see, like, has Cobell in the past, as I said, I'm going wild, has Cobell in the past also escaped? And once you escape, is it, well done, you did a great job there. So now here's a job
as the floor manager.
Is their work completely pointless?
I don't know.
It's just I know it's a wild one. I'm just so curious as to what it is they're doing.
Like I buy the test theory more about the office workers. Like if they're testing them.
But well, that's a good point, because if they're the sheep almost, or the guinea pigs, the goats. But obviously, I don't know, but I'm very intrigued to find out. I'm
so excited to see the season finale again.
Will we? But that's the only reason I think all of this is like, is it all a test? Is because there's so many recent things where you're like, well, if they're doing that, then why don't they do that? If they're allowing them to, they're not allowing them to have a meeting with someone without signing 3 forms. Why are they allowed to roam the hallways?
Yeah,
that makes no sense. Close off. I know they have now. So there's just a lot of
maybe it's just they've never had to do it before because they've like through various other methods like the break room and stuff. They've always eventually just resigned to be compliant.
Yeah, it is a big thing about it.
I don't think they've ever I think they're all able to talk a big game about fake coups, but I don't think they've ever had to actually deal with a coup. So now that it's happening, and again, when you have people who have different management styles, which Milchek does, and Cobell does, again, I'm assuming. They're supposed to be working together, but they seem like completely divided on what actually to do, And that's why you're seeing Milchek go off and do his own thing. And then they're also trying to deal with this other totally separate problem that is Petey. I don't even think they realise that they're related now at this point. You know what I mean? They haven't copped the Petey connection there at all. They just think it's Helly being a bit annoying.
We're really getting into the depths of it next 3 episodes.
I need to go to bed, I think. I need to go to bed, watch this, come back. I can't wait.
I need to watch it twice.
Yeah.
I've watched it a couple of times. This is my 3rd time
I'm
watching.
reading people talk about it on Reddit being things they've noticed on their 5th or 6th watch, and I'm like, that's the vibe I need to be on.
Will you send me that thread? I need that thread.
Yeah, I will send it to you. Oh my God, Adam found her email address. She is so getting emailed.
Fair play.
She is so getting emailed. Okay. David Hammond, thank you so much for joining me. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much. I'm loving this.
I'm loving this too. Which is why we'll be back next week to recap the final 3 episodes of Severance Season 1, right before Severance Season 2 finally airs. Can you believe it?
What is 17th of January?
17th of January. I used to dream of days like this.
Ready.
I'm so
ready. I have it in my calendar.
I'm
Severance
so excited.
back.
Don't ask me to do anything on the 17th of January. We're busy. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.